onto the topic of one of the mates who said, I mean, you've got to remember, Nice, this point was probably about 5 or 6, something like that, right? In the back of the car, talking about My Little Pony, whatever it is they play with. Subject changed. Oh, that Lisa in our class, she's a lesbian, isn't she?
Right.
That was that's what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Chatting away about it.
Just openly talking about lesbianism.
And probably, you know, this is the topic that they're talking about in the pub when they're having out drinking.
Yeah, but they might have thought a lesbian was a funny word or something. You don't necessarily know the ins and outs of it, do they?
It's weird though, isn't it? Because when I was younger at school, you didn't you swore a little bit, but it wasn't like major swear words, and you sort of did a little bit of nicking, but nothing like they get up to now. I mean,
my girlfriend, when she was about 7 or 8, just walked to school with her mum, and she called her a C-U-N. Right?
You are, Joe.
No, she said, because she thought it was a big. She said she thought it was a big furry animal. She was being nice, and I remember, we're doing that. Like, just heard it at school, so they might not know what it means.
Well, I tell you, I'm gonna have to use kind of euphemisms here to tell this story, but when I was at school, I learned, the stronger version, it's not the same word, but it's very similar with one letter changed. I'm gonna use twit.
Yeah.
You know the word I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna use the word twit to replace it, right? And I said, I went round...
You think they're twat?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. And, so can I say it? Am I allowed to say it?
No, it's weird though, because some people from Cornwall use that like saying twit. So, if people listen in Cornwall...
Do you know what, a twit is a pregnant goldfish?
Well...
Well, I learned the stronger version of twit.
Yeah.
Twat. For those that aren't sure. I learned this at school when I was like 10 or whatever, and I didn't know what it meant. I thought it was just a stronger version of twit. Yeah. I thought it was just if you were really annoyed with someone because they were a real twit.
Because I is worse than I.
Exactly, apparently. So, Carl would be a twit. And so I started using this at home, because I didn't realise what it meant. I started using this at home, oh, you twit, you're a twit, and saying it to my dad, you're a twit, but not saying twit. Yeah. And my dad didn't know what it meant either.
That's great!
I can believe. So he started using it as well, right? So then we'd be driving in the car, he'd be saying to my mum, you stupid, don't pull over, you're gonna bum it, you twat. Saying this. Then I learned at school from Mark Johnson what it really meant.
Yeah.
Stopped using it, obviously finding out it was quite an offensive word.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bring it up to my dad. I didn't want to sit my dad down and say, Dad, you know that word we've been saying? Yeah. You know what it means? So now, to this day, I've never brought it up with him. So we'll be driving, I'll go in for Christmas, we'll be driving around, he'll be calling my mum that word. Left, right and centre. I think she knows. I think she's just embarrassed. Or she's just upset and she knows what it means. She goes, why does he keep calling me this terrible word? But he's the only one, I think, in our family who doesn't know what it means. No one's got the guts to say. I don't know whether I should tell him this Christmas.
Oh, what a twat.
I know.
Good to hear that again.
Always good to hear that.
Suede. Animal nitrate. Carl was all flustered because there was a record set up and he's getting all tizzy. He's been more worried about his competitions than sorting out putting records on ready. What?
I'm after Steve's Song for a Lover.
Well, I'll tell you what, why didn't you carry on with your educating Ricky section? I'll have a look on the
We'll keep it going, Steve.
Yeah,
you keep it on. Go on then, right, okay. We've had a few emails. Anyone got it right, Carl? Anyone
educating Ricky, that's the final one. We've got to get that out of the way.
We've got to get Rockbusters as well, though.
We can do that at the end, we can wait.
Go on then.
But we've only got 5 minutes left.
Come on, just do educating Ricky.
Right. God. The last one that we haven't done is, he's a bit of a nuisance.
Go on then.
Again, not really that interesting.
Thanks.
No, again, I spoke to you in the week, and I had much better things, like when I tell you about Brian Blessed climbing Everest, and for some reason it made him, it played havoc with his belly, and he followed through and he had to clean up.
Shat himself?
Yeah, using ice and snow.
Why are you telling me that Brian Blessed, in what way is telling me that Brian Blessed shit himself once in any way educational?
Because I was saying how he was climbing Everest, right?
Right.
I give it to him, he's an actor and that, but he gave that a go.
Yeah.
Right, he played...
What's the point of that, you'd say, wouldn't you?
You'd say, God, he's
oh, so he's alright. Me doing a boxing match for no reason is rubbish, but him climbing Everest and shitting himself...
Yeah, he did that.
It's commendable.
Right, and he's only gonna, go and do it again. He's gonna climb it again.
Yeah, but he might not shit himself this time.
Yeah, what's the point in going? Nothing's changed up there.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
Since you've been.
Well, it has. They've probably cleared it up by now. Right, but, hit slip on it.
I can't really
Go-
bother telling you this one, because...
Come on!
To be
Just
honest-
do it, or do it now!
Steve, how we doing?
Look, no, never mind that. Look, just that means. Oh, he's a nuisance. Oh, this is so annoying, Carl. I'm gonna go mental.
Right,
Talk!
right, listen, I'm just putting
Right.
this in here, right? Right, nuisance is a bit of a nuisance.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Yeah.
the old fella who used to hang people... Yeah.
Yeah.
He used to be able to tell somebody's weight just by looking at them. Right? That's a bit of a bonus fact.
We'll be the judge of that.
The thing that I wanted to tell you
Yeah.
is, money for old rope, do you know what I'm saying? I can't even be bothered.
Yes, you're gonna tell me now. Come on, Carl. I mean it.
Basically, money for old rope
Yeah.
came from the... right?
What was all that about? He can tell someone's weight. What was
The
that
bonus
for?
fact.
And blind blessed shitting himself. What are you? What? No, don't you? No, tell me that now. You nearly made me swear. Then, I'm getting really annoyed. I'm getting really annoyed now. Tell me this fact, Carl, or I'm gonna go mental.
Come on, Carl, time's running out.
More that people years ago, when people used to be hung, right?
Right.
If you didn't like the person who's been hung, you'd go, God, I really don't like him, and so you never forget the
Presumably if
time.
they're being hung, we take that as read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they never forget afterwards to get the hangman to get the rope and to cut it up into little pieces, and he'd sell them. He'd sell the little pieces of the rope to people. And
See,
they'd go,
Carl, that's the most interesting thing, if it's true, that you've come up with.
Right, okay. And so what's... so they sell the rope,
they sell the rope, and it's money for old rope.
money for old rope.
Meaning, like, you know, God, it's easy to make money, that all they have to do is cut it up and sell it.
I'm cynical.
I'm not so
Right,
convinced
listen,
now.
we're really tight, we haven't even got time for a last joke, we've got an ad break and we've got to give out...
Okay, give the answers then. This is
Right.
ridiculous.
So, Steve,
on.
do you want to pick a winner?
I've got the winner when you give us the answers.
Okay, so the first clue was, that army has got some well nice trenches.
Yeah.
That was DW,
Who's that?
Dandy Warhols.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Alright?
Good, yeah.
The second one, the top of them curtains are wrecked, all the material is worn.
Yeah.
HV, that's Holly Valance.
Oh, he got a phone call for a woman saying I haven't heard it, and he was talking to her off air, and she went, what is it? So them's curtains. She went, alright. He said, you know the thing around the top of the curtain is a palmet, not a valance, and he went, cut her off.
Yeah, but my auntie's always making balances on everything. I'll tell you about that next week, right?
I'm looking forward to that.
Right.
Is this the one that farted for 5 minutes?
Yeah, the very same.
Yeah.
Right? So, we'll talk about that. I was in Texas, I tripped up, I landed on my knees in a puddle, WH,
Yeah.
wet knee Houston. Right?
Wet knee Houston.
Yeah. So,
You're a maniac.
so, who's a winner?
We've got Pete, Catherine and Laura in Newcastle upon Tyne. They're listening online, I assume, and they
on
can
Sky
get
Digital.
those great places. And remember, they got loads of stuff. They got the DVD here. They got Linda Green. They got Stone Roses. They got another compilation and Executive Decision.
Where did you read about Brian Blessed? Is it actually true, or have you live
No,
or something?
it was an interview with him in it.
And what did he
Right.
say? Come on, what did he say?
He said I climbed Everest and I played havoc with me belly. Let's talk about it next week. We've really run out now.
Oh, you're a fool. Foo Fighters, All My Life on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais with me, Steve Merchant, and Carl Pilkington.
Indeed.
Genius Carl Pilkington, as
Yes.
Heat magazine said.
Really? Is that what
Yeah.
he's referred to now?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Genius. Saying about people tune in just to hear his games,
Yeah.
such as educating Ricky. Have you got some educating Ricky for me?
Got some education.
I need some education, Carl.
That's
I
kind of like
desperately need some education. I want to learn about Chinese kids that are born hairier than average. I want to hear about deaf girls that can hear after their mum hits their head against a wall. These are the things I need to know.
I mean, I don't wish to be disrespectful. He doesn't look like a genius.
He doesn't look like
But then I
genius.
don't know what a genius looks like.
Exactly.
So,
Steve.
you know, I don't want to be an
look at Einstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His mum thought he was mental as a child.
Where'd you get that information from?
That was in the Einstein book.
Well, it was in the Einstein book, then it's presumably true.
Which Einstein book is that? Is
the,
Theory of Relativity?
the big book of Einstein stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the big bumper book of Einstein stuff. It's
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
coach
yeah.
trip, and you have to fill in
Yeah.
E equals MC1 squared, 2 fish, or 3 hello, and then it's multiple choice, and you fill it. It's great. It's
Did his mum
brilliant.
think A, he was a genius, B, mental?
Most people go for A, but it is in fact B. She thought he was mental at the age of 28. Oh, Carl, you never let me down. You never let me down. So have you got Educating Ricky for me?
We've got Educating Ricky coming up.
We've got Rockbusters.
We've got Rockbusters.
Great as seen and talked about in Heat.
In Heat magazine.
It's got really tough this week now. We're not messing about anymore.
Right.
Got some good prizes.
Absolutely, yeah, we'll talk about those later. Yeah, because I mean, was it last week that you had the classic? Was it, I can't remember, I'm paraphrasing, Carl, apologies. Something like, I'm here in Texas, I've fallen in a puddle, and my knee has got wet.
Yeah. Whitney Houston.
Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Also, it was last week when there was a little bit of confusion over the one for Holly Valance. Right?
Of course. I don't think it was confusion, I think it was your error.
No, it wasn't.
And it was Holy Valance, and you meant Pelmet.
Then Becky, who called up that time and said, oh, if you're getting mistaken with Pelmet, right, she sent me an email in a week saying, I've done a bit of research, it was my fault, I've made an error, it is a Valance.
Okay.
And I know about Valances, as I told you last week at the very end, my auntie loves them.
Yeah.
Right? She makes them. She started off just like putting them on top of the sort of window around the curtain. And then she thought, oh, I can do more with this. And she had a little coffee table that had magazines underneath, and she said, I'm sick of seeing them magazines when I'm sat down.
She sounds like a Pilkington.
So
I'm sick of seeing them magazines when I sit down.
So she put a Valance on the table.
She just got Valance on everything now.
Then, next step, she tapes everything. She never actually watches telly. She tapes it all because she gets sick of listening to the adverts and that. So she tapes everything. So she's got loads of videotapes and that. And the video used to get on her nerves. When she was watching a film, she'd see the clock changing. And it distracted her from the film. So she put a Valance around that.
That's genius.
Yeah.
So,
that is really.
Or is it mental? Only Mrs. Einstein can tell.
I don't know. She's even made a little Jack Russell look like a hovercraft. It's great.
So everything's got a Valance.
If you go round and you stand still for too long, the chances are she'll put a Valance on your head.
This is this is Auntie Who,
Auntie Nora,
and this is the one that farted for 5 minutes. lest our listeners forget.
Lest we
farted
forget.
for 5 minutes. Called his mum, saying I'm farting. 2 minutes into the fart.
She's about 2.5 minutes in.
She said I'm about 2.5 minutes into
Well,
the
my
fart.
mum said, how long's it been going on for? And she said, well, it was about 2.5 minutes before I called you.
Yeah.
And then it went on for a further 2.5 minutes or something. And then it stopped. And,
She couldn't type right because there was a Valance over the clock.
Yeah, she
Because it used to
couldn't
annoy
type
her
it,
when she was
yeah.
on the phone and you put her off the
So
time.
she was
guessing it was 5 minutes.
This was one consistent fart.
yeah. I mean, it wasn't making a noise, it was just...
Oh, it wasn't making a noise.
Just gas.
Right, endless gas.
So, there you
That's
go.
fantastic. Well, we started off with a new one, a little bit of Foo Fighters. We like new and old on this show, don't
Indeed,
we?
we like to mix it up.
I'd like to play to the Smiths from their debut album, I Don't Owe You Anything. I Don't Owe You Anything. The lads from Carl's hometown there.
Indeed.
The Smiths. Brilliant, that one. Wow, I went to Manchester, didn't I, the other day? Went up to Manchester for a little corporate. It was alright. He went, wait till you get out, you see Piccadilly, it's better than Euston. Right. It was. You know, it was nicer. I went outside and there was a ridiculous queue, and sort of one cab.
Right, yeah.
So,
Horse-drawn.
yeah. And so I walked, and it was okay. It was only down the road. It was a bit dark. It was wet and raining.
Obviously, it's the north.
I know, yeah. The hotel was very nice, but no minibar. I've never seen that before. I've travelled all over the world seeing a hotel without a minibar.
No,
So I
I've
don't know
never
what's
heard
going on then. I don't know what's going on there. And then I did this corporate gig in Old Trafford. The pitch was up, I don't know what they were doing, but, you know, very impressive. Big, impressive. I think they're the richest football club, aren't they, Carl?
Yeah.
You did a gig at where?
Old Trafford. It was in a function room.
Oh,
there
well, I
for
thought it
a-
was the stadium.
No, I'm not that big yet. No. But I mean, you know, I can't really comment on Manchester. I do know that Liverpool was voted most important music city via poll.
True enough.
So, Carl, you're making noises while I'm talking.
Yeah, but you do this all the time trying to wind me up. And I'm not saying Manchester's the best place in the world, but what I'm saying is, there's bits of it that I really miss.
Yeah.
Like last Sunday, right? When I'd met up with Ricky, we had spaghetti bolognese, which was alright. And then I said to her, I need some soil.
Damn, I wish you'd invited me. It sounds amazing.
So I need some soil. What do you think?
You need some what? Soil?
Soil, yeah.
I need to repot a plant, right?
Yeah.
So,
you need to repot a plant?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
So, I'm like, where, you can't see these shops in London. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing around.
I took him straight to one in my street.
Yeah, but near your street, and that's probably the only one in London.
Well, you say that, Carl.
No, it does annoy me. Round my way, it's like, you know...
You can't move for soil shops.
You can't. There's earth. You can just pick up handfuls walking down the street.
Yeah, incredible. People just lean over into someone's front garden.
No,
You can take the plants as well.
No, but what I'm saying is,
Go on.
Manchester, there's loads of decent hardware shops.
Yeah.
Here, you know, if you want a panini and a latte or whatever, you can't move from 'em. But for soil, I had to go virtually how many miles away from me to carry that soil home and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not good. I mean, London's alright, but if cities were sort of
It's neglecting the peat market, really,
Well,
isn't
there's barely any mulch available in central London.
I'm sick and tired of not getting a good decent compost of a Sunday.
Indeed.
So,
It's sickening to me.
I'm thinking of moving to the north, where there is loads of soil and gravel.
Indeed.
And animal shite.
whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, you were going to say if you're marking cities out of 10, what would you give London?
Well, if you were marking them on, like, you know, on what they have.
Right.
as opposed to what?
Well, as opposed to...
How
The
you
name.
spell it?
Say, like, I think the greatest city in the world is Rome. Right,
Okay.
it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Have you been?
What? Yeah. Why do you think that though?
Just because, like, you turn a corner and there's something there that's really old. Right? Like, you're going down Normal Street.
Go and stay in a Derby and Joan club.
Yeah.
No, but it's like you're going down the road and then you turn a corner and like the Colosseum's in the middle of a busy road. It's like, what's that doing there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just when you think there's no more, you turn another corner.
It's almost as if that was there first.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? London,
Yeah.
what have we got? You know, Trafalgar Square's world known. You go there, what's there?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of space there. Get one big B&Q
In Trafalgar Square.
to cater for the whole of people who live sort of central Londonish.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'd be happy. But what I'm saying
But with
is,
Nelson just popping up through the middle, because you can still see it, couldn't you?
Yeah. It's a great idea.
B&Q, so B&Q could be like the whole sort of flat thing and make it sort of grey so it looked like rock, and then Nelson popping
Make it
up.
classy is what you're saying.
Yeah, stone clad it,
Yeah.
so it looks like you've made an effort.
Exactly.
And then you can pop in, and then you can go out and go, oh look, Nelson's column. Oh look at that, isn't Nelson? Oh look at that, the victory, defeat. That's fantastic. One of the greatest living.
Yeah.
I need some nails.
Yeah. Perfect. Killing two birds with one stone, you're saying?
but why isn't there more than them shops? Because when I went into yours, every time I've been in there twice now. The first time was to get a shower head, right?
Right.
And I went in there, couldn't resist buying something else. I ended up getting some super glue as well.
Blimey. Hey, big spender.
And then last summer got 2 bags of soil, not one, I bought 2.
Yeah.
And I bought some scissors to cut plants with.
Secateurs.
Well, you don't.
Scissors.
You never know when you want. You know, you might need more soil, I suppose.
Well, I've got
You've
2.
stopped out now. Where'd you keep it under your bed?
Sorry, this isn't going out, is it? This conversation. It's not going out on air.
I got a feeling it might be.
You're joking. We better play a record.
Okay.
Play a classic. I hate to say I told you so on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, obviously, with me, Steve Merchant, and Carl Genius Pilkington.
Absolutely. I was watching a bit of
Carl
TV.
the Brain Pilkington.
The brains. I was watching a bit of TV last night, Rick.
Go on.
And I had a little
Children
thought.
Need?
No, well, I didn't watch Children Need.
No, you must have
I was watching
treat.
something. I think it was last night. It was a bit earlier. I had a little thought for lads that might be out tonight. You know, on the Raz.
Yeah.
Maybe they get a little bit of success with the ladies.
Yeah.
This was something that struck me as I was watching it. A lot of gentlemen, you know, when they're engaged in, you know, an act of, you know, relations with a lady, they like to sort of, you know, think of an image or something that will prevent them from, you know, and you catch my drift. We're men of the world.
Grandmother's funeral is the cliche, isn't it?
Exactly. And I'll tell you what I think it should be. Rick Waller jogging. I was watching Fit Club. I have never seen anything
I
like
liked it when
Rick.
Harvey lost it with him.
Oh man alive. I mean, I know I slag him off, but I don't really like him either. I just think he comes across appallingly, and I think, you know,
When he just walked away in that mid-conversation talking to that bloke, they're doing it for his
I
good,
know,
really.
but he's like 31 stone.
I think he lost a bit. I think he's 29 now. Don't exaggerate, Steve. You make him sound like a fat.
But you know, I mean,
That
yeah,
was close, wasn't it?
when having sex, you know, apparently thinking of Rick Waller, helps.
Oh, don't look what's happened.
Exactly.
That's the reverse effect.
Yeah.
Oh no, me and
No,
Carl.
if you're with a lady, apparently
Yeah.
that works.
I know. He's out now, isn't he? He's out.
Did he walk out?
I think so. I think that's it. From what I can.
No, I think next week they kick him out, because I read something about they get rid of him next week because of his attitude. And first time I read it, I thought he'd actually ate someone's hat. But it was.
You lost me.
Got rid of him because of the attitude. Oh,
Everything you think of now is puns. You can't get puns out of your head, can you?
Oh, Carl, you're great. Look at his little face.
He's so good.
That
How
is
long have you been
good.
working on that?
You've gotta give him that. That was
that
a
is-
real
no,
joke.
it is
Look at
funny.
his face. He knew it was funny. It was meant to be funny. He said it to be funny, and it was. Well done. Well done.
I'm just interested, I just want to dissect it, because it was brilliant, and I'm wondering how long have you been working on it?
About 2 weeks.
No, it's good stuff, it was worth the wait.
I got it now.
Oh, well
The
done.
attitude.
Well, I don't think there's only one band that can top that. Another band from Manchester, Oasis.
Oh.
Vines. And there's Jackson on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Carl Pilkington. Right, getting towards that time where Carl really kicks into action. We've got the quiz. We've got Rockbusters. The quiz that's a bit like Blockbusters, but mainly around music. Yeah, and a pun, a scenario, based in wordplay by Carl. You know how good he is at that.
Can I tell you what the prizes are this week, because they're worth playing for?
Please do.
Okay, we got on DVD the Manic Street Preachers' Greatest Hits on DVD. The videos, I'm assuming. The film Human Traffic, it's a remixed DVD version of that. I think we were giving this away last week. You've obviously got a bulk stock of these. Groove Armada's Love Box, an album from them. The best air guitar album in the world ever. That's got the likes of Queen, Adams, Palmer, Leopard,
Aerosmith.
Idol. I don't see
I think
it.
the Smiths should be on there.
We've got Purple, Wolf, Cooper, Top, Quo, and Back, Nickelback. Now there was another one there actually. I seem to have lost one of the puns. Oh, here we are. Yeah, this is, you may have seen this advertised on TV, the Best Bands Ever album. And just imagine who this is aimed at. It's got Oasis on there, Nickelback, Coldplay, da-da-da. The Dandy Warhols, Bohemian Like You, in brackets, as featured in the Vodafone TV ads. Then it's got Smash Mouth, Walking on the Sun, as featured in the Ford Fiesta TV ads.
It's for people who didn't know they liked indie.
Exactly.
They go, I don't like indie, but you do. Do you like this advert? Yeah. Do you like this advert? Yeah. Well, you like indie then? I do. I love indie.
Can't believe it.
That's great.
Yeah. The Mock Turtles, Can You Dig It, as featured in the Vodafone TV ads.
I really like indie.
Do you love the T-Mobile TV ad?
Yeah.
You'll love this. It's got Royce Cup on there, which is featured in there. So that's an album for people who don't like music.
That's great. That's coming up, Rockbusters.
But I also have a movie, because you know last week I gave away Executive Decision.
Yeah.
That was on TV last night.
Yes.
So you didn't receive my copy.
But they probably watched it before it was on TV.
Yeah.
A few days
I was
before.
clearing out, Rick, last night. I found another one which might be just to entice people.
Go on. What is it?
Coming right at you.
It's coming out the bag.
The Pelican Brief.
Oh!
Another arbitrary film choice on VHS. Pelican Brief. Roberts, Washington. You'll notice
Get it now on VHS before there are no more
$6.99.
VHSs
It
around.
was $6.99. I'm giving that away as
That's
well.
great,
Pelican
and that's
Brief.
his personal collection.
That's from my personal collection.
Did you see that picture, Carl?
I don't think it's even rewound from when I watched it.
Really?
No, it's not. You can rewind that yourself.
Brilliant. That's a little touch of Steve Merchant there.
Exactly.
Did you see that picture that he brought in?
I have actually. Can I see it again, Carl? Yeah, it's just a picture. This is. You carry it with you, do you? In your wallet
Well,
all the
no,
time?
he found it, right?
Last week I was sorting it, because I'm moving. I'm sorting all my files out and that. And because this is the only school picture
He
I've
had
got.
one school picture taken when he was that 10 in 1981?
I was about eight.
Okay, tell the story. Why is that the only school picture you had taken?
Just because, no, I had them all, I was always had them taken, right? But my dad thought they were overpriced for what you get. Because really, he said that like, the whole idea of a good picture is like, not only the person that's in it, but like the surroundings.
Yeah.
So like, if you're on holiday, he'll look at me and he'll go, oh yeah, you're looking well there. What's that hill in the background? Or something like that. Whereas with
That's Rick Waller, catching up.
But all you get on these school pictures is like a blue background, isn't it? So he was like, I'm not paying for that.
Sure.
And it was a big one. You get a bigger one than that, but that's just like a little passport size, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was £1.60. And he wasn't really happy paying that, because he said you could get like some done from True Print for a lot cheaper.
That he could take himself.
Yeah.
And so did he tell you at the time that was the last time he was paying for a school
He
picture?
said, I'll get you one because it's good to have a picture of you at school.
Yeah.
Because they hardly ever went and all that. So he said, like...
What's that in the background? That's my school dad. Oh,
I don't recognise it. You got any interesting stories about it? Not really.
So, I was a good-looking kid there, wasn't I?
What are you doing with your mouth, though, Carl? It looks like you're sort of... It looks like a bit like you're a ventriloquist dummy.
What do you mean?
Well, it looks like you're sort of scrunching your mouth up, or pursing your lips or something. Do you not think? I mean, now you've got, dare I say it, very kissable lips. So in here, look how thin they are. Look at those little thin lips. It's like you...
I'm smiling.
That's a smile?
Oh, that's what I didn't recognise that either.
I didn't realise that was a
Oh,
smile.
is that what you look like when you smile?
What's happening with the head?
Had your
Obviously-
dad seen you smile before then?
Well, I think that's why he wanted to buy one as well. That's like, so he can remember what it was like.
Right.
'Cause I don't smile.
When did you stop smiling? When was the last time you had fun and you started like happy-go-lucky? When can you remember when you had no weight of the world on your shoulders?
I often think that. Because I don't sleep like I did, like when I was a kid. I had really good sleeps, and now I don't.
Right.
So I think...
But you've got a lot of things on your mind, you know, where can I buy soil?
Yeah, how can I confuse a computer by tapping in Y in the search engine?
Probably when I was 14, I was stress-free.
Where?
Yeah,
When was the paper round?
probably when I was 15.
Right. That's when it started, was it?
I reckon. That's when I started getting stressed.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the haircut you've got in the... Because obviously I've not seen you before with hair, and it's an interesting mop. Do you have that done at the barber's?
No, my mum used to do it.
Yeah, she got that?
Yeah.
Right,
She
did
used to, what she used to do, you can't see it in that picture, but there was one where she did bit of a mess of it. I mean, it looks quite...
I
quite
can't tell from this picture.
No, but that's one of the better ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right. Were you bullied much?
On one of them, she used to like use a bit of newspaper in front of my eyes, so she didn't like stick these scissors in my eyes.
So newspaper stops scissors every time.
Yeah, because I think they use that for bulletproof vests.
Yeah, the tough fabric of a reconstituted newspaper will stop the scissor any time.
No, definitely. I remember, because I know a lot of UN guys when they're on patrol, they use some old copies of The Sun.
They put it in their pocket.
Yeah, the Daily Star.
Sorry, yeah, okay, yeah.
So she used to always be on a Sunday night when like Songs of Praise is on or something. Nothing was on the telly just before Last of the Summer Wine or something.
Yeah.
And she used to get the.
What a depressing time that was.
It was.
Having your hair cut and listening to Songs of Praise, waiting for Last Summer Wine.
Yeah.
I always used to get depressed on Sunday nights.
Well, I'll tell you
and it wasn't because school was the next morning, it was because the telly was so shite.
I think it was because school was next morning, because Antiques Roadshow still does that for me. I see the Antiques Roadshow, I love it, but I'm just thinking I've got to go to school or work tomorrow.
Yeah.
The Roadshow, I wish they put it on the week.
But I know, I've never really had that. When I worked, I suppose. I work now. Don't know. No. Oh, what
Not
giveaway? What giveaway?
Sorry, you were telling us a
But
story
yeah,
about...
so anyway, she'd get the newspaper,
Right.
and she'd stick it in front of my eyes, and
What does that say? Go on.
so she'd
You inherited a lot from your mum, didn't you?
So she'd cut my fringe, right?
Yeah.
But then she'd go, oh, it's not straight, it's not very good. So she'd go again, and she'd keep going, and the problem
Is that why you're bald now?
I was going to say, is this that you have got hair, but she has to get it right.
Yeah.
It takes her to the back of your neck to get it even.
She sort of removed the newspaper, and she was like, oh God. And I said, what? She goes, oh, I'm sorry. And like...
What did this happen every Sunday?
Can I ask you, Carl, when she was cutting your hair in this picture, do you think she was maybe sidetracked by an interesting article in the paper and really wasn't paying attention to
or
what she was
did her
doing?
favourite hymn come on?
Yeah,
and
indeed.
she started
Or Compo was rolling down your hill.
in a bar.
So yeah, I ended up with like, you know, a fringe sort of on the back of my head, because she just kept going further and further.
Sure.
But
When did you start going to that barber that was on the railway station?
that's when I started work, so, you know, sort of 16, 17.
And is he the one that said you have the hair of a Chinaman?
He's the one who's, yeah.
He sounds like a wise man.
Well, can I just stop? I think maybe we should play a tune, but maybe you could bring in some photos next week, Rick, and we can talk about them on the radio.
Yeah, and I'm just going to do a card trick. Right, take a card. Any card, yeah. Right, look at it. Is that your card?
Boy with the arrow strap, Bell and Sebastian. Coming next, Educating Ricky.
You too, Electrical Storm. Steve, am I mental, or have we been playing some great tunes
We've
today?
been playing some great tunes, you're not mental. You're
On
a genius.
XFM, yeah. On XFM, wonderful with Ricky Gervais would be Steve Merchant and Carl Pilkington. Carl Pilkington in the chair now. The talked about, the acclaimed Educating Ricky.
Right, well, just in case anyone's new, doesn't normally listen,
Yeah.
basically, I'm educating Ricky. do a bit of research in the week, find stuff, news, history, anything that's interesting. 3 stories, I give them a nice little headline. You take your pick. Between now and 3, you're going to learn 3 things. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, the headlines are, I'll be no buying one of them.
Give us that again.
I'll be no buying one of them.
Nice, okay.
Yeah. We've also got, hippopotamus.
Okay. Okay.
And, can you believe it?
Can you believe it?
Well, I'm going to go for hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus?
News.
Right, well this one, it's, I'm not going to take the credit here. I heard Christian talking about this on breakfast, right, because it's a good story that happened. Basically, I don't know if I told you about it last week when we were having our spaghetti, but,
I think you did.
Right,
I know what it is. I know what this is.
Okay, I've not heard this.
right, there's a little midget. Right, there's a circus.
I'm loving it already.
Circus going on somewhere. I think it was in America. And
is that present day or old times?
I'm talking like in the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
Right, little midget circus, really packed out show. People are loving it.
Right, Steve, you'll ask the same question I did. I know.
So there's a little midget jumping up and down on a trampoline.
That's what circus is.
Right.
I'd pay good money to see it.
So everyone's clapping, and he's getting carried away.
Because he can't believe he can't believe they're loving it. I didn't know they'd like a little person on a trampoline, but they love me.
But you know what it's like when, if there's a crowd of people sort of encouraging you to sort of go higher and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he knew it was getting out of hand. But he was jumping and he was coming down the road going, higher, and he's going really high in the air, right? So he's doing this, crowd are clapping. There's a hippo, right, just sat next to the trampoline, getting ready to come on and do his act.
Oh right, I thought he was in the audience.
That's it. Getting ready to do his act, Steve.
Yeah. So
he's a ventriloquist.
What do you mean he's sitting by the trampoline waiting to do his act?
Because it's
why does he sit in the dressing room and they go, 5 minutes, Mr. Mus, 5 minutes, Mr. Mus.
So anyway, right, so the hippo's there.
He's getting annoyed, is he? Because the midget's
He's going, how can I follow this? How can I, this is really annoying. They're going to be, no.
So
he's thinking, he's already done the trampoline, my pogo stick act is never going to work.
Yeah, go on, so there's a hippo waiting. See, it's a great story and I just know he embellishes it or he gets slightly wrong. Go on.
So
there's a midget jumping up and down, the hippo's getting annoyed.
The crowd are going mad, the midget's loving it, can't believe his luck. Although you think, he probably knows he's dicing with danger.
Yeah. So, next thing you know, they're all saying higher, higher. He gives it one big, like, heavy sort of landing on the trampoline, goes really high, but goes off at a funny angle.
Oh.
Hypotenuse.
Okay.
Yeah. And sort of flies up.
Hypotenuse!
Sure.
Flies off at a funny angle.
Oh, dear.
Hippo's there, swallows him whole. Crowd are clapping, thinking that's why the hippo was waiting there.
Rubbish. Rubbish.
It's not rubbish though.
But no, maybe there was an accident in a circus with a midget and a hippo, but at no point was this hippo waiting to go on going, come on. The midget flew off at hypotenuse and landed in the hippo's mouth and was swallowed whole. This is what you embellish it. That is great. And what's
I
that?
have to say though, Rick, when I heard midget, trampoline, hippopotamus, I was thinking actually waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
maybe. I mean,
It is that you should never put those three together.
Never.
It's a recipe for disaster. Everyone knows that. Midget, trampoline, hippopotamus. Are you mental?
You're asking for trouble.
Well,
You know when he told me it, he said, and the midget, he didn't mention the hippopotamus, and he said the midget went on, and soon he fell off, and the hippo ate him. And I said, sorry, what was the hippo doing there? He went, it's a circus.
I've never heard of a circus having a hippo.
What do hippos do?
What can they do? You can't train them, can you?
What do you
Oh, they're like very deadly. They're huge, aren't they?
You can't have a hippo in a circus.
are you sure?
You're not thinking of Zippo?
He's neither clown.
Yeah. No, and it wasn't some sort of where Zippo was eating a midget and it's some sort of horrible sexual act?
No, it was definitely. I heard it on breakfast, right?
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, it's definitely fact.
Yeah, okay,
It's definitely
right,
truth.
okay, good. Well, let's play a record then.
So,
I'd like to play a classic Springsteen. We're all fans of Springsteen there. This might be his debut album, I'm not sure. Greetings from Raspberry Park.
I think it is, yeah.
New Jersey. And this is Growing Up. It's great, it's classic. Springsteen and Growing Up off of Raspberry Park album. Great. They make you feel good, Springsteen, doesn't he?
He's a joy. He's an absolute joy. Rockbusters.
That's what they're all reading and writing about.
Absolutely. Before you get the clues, let me just remind you of the prizes you're playing for. We've got the Manic Street Preachers' Greatest Hits on DVD. We've got the film Human Traffic on DVD. We've got the Best Air Guitar Album 2 on CD. Groove Armada's. Is this their current album?
Yeah.
I guess it's not selling very well. They're still trying to promote that. You can have that as well. If you are a fan of the Ford Fiesta TV ad, of the Vodafone TV adverts, you will love the...
You didn't think you liked indie? Well, you do.
Exactly, and that's got Feeder and Travis and Badly Drawn Boy and all sorts on there. Plus, my own copy, $6.99 it cost me, The Pelican Brief, starring Julia Roberts and Denzel Washington. If you've not seen that, panned and scanned on VHS. So what are the clues?
Do you know what a pelican? I read the other day that has to turn its head upside down to eat.
Give us the clues.
So, Rockbusters.
Well, let me just explain. A bird has a gullet, an esophagus and a gullet. It's all in one thing. It hasn't got peristalsis, which is the movement that we have that can make food. So a bird can only rely on gravity.
Yeah.
So it has to have its head up and has to shake. It can't eat.
You were going to say that, weren't you, Carl?
Yeah. So, Rockbusters, you mentioned it earlier, one of last week's was, it's a cryptic clue and then some initials. I was in Texas, I fell in a puddle on my knees got wet, WH, wet knee, Houston.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing we...
Use of the word knee twice there in the cryptic clue and in the final
And the word
answer.
wet, I think you're right.
Yeah, which is wit. So fine, good.
So, there's three of them. It's email only, ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk. Sure. Load of stuff to win. Here we go. Right, the first one.
I'm writing these down. Go on.
Making it of them.
The fella has only got one badge left.
The fella has only got one badge left.
Yeah.
What are the initials?
That's just E.
Just E. Oh, just E.
Just E. The fella has only got one badge left.
This is either a solo artist or a band.
Yeah. Second one. The unmarried lady is a friend I eat out with.
Say that again.
The unmarried lady is a friend I eat out with.
The unmarried lady is a friend I eat out with.
Yeah.
What's the initial?
MD.
MD.
MD. And finally, I really love that woman. I love everything she does. That's M. Now,
Give us that one again.
I really love that woman. I love everything she does.
And that's...
Right. M.
Right, now I've got that one.
Right.
Okay.
That's great. It's great. That's lovely.
So,
That's great.
I think the second and third one's quite easy. First one is a killer.
Is it tricky?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. So, ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk, and what, we pick a winner out at about 1:45 or something like
2,
that?
yeah, absolutely.
No, 2:45, what am I talking about?
3.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's dynamite stuff. Well done, Carl.
Excellent.
More educating Ricky next.
Yeah.
Beck, Lost Cause on XFM 104.9. Wow. Carl, we haven't had a lot of emails. They're tough.
I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I've got one, and I'm struggling with two, but I know one of the words, but I can't think of the band that fits it unless the clue's wrong, and I've got no idea with the first one, E.
Give us them again.
Just
Just
give 'em
quickly recap. Number one, the fella has only got one badge left. That's E. Second one, the unmarried lady is a friend I eat out with. That's MD. And the last one, I really love that woman. I love everything she does. That's M.
Well, Ricky, what is it, Ricky?
Ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
So keep those coming in. If there's no winner, we don't know whether to give it to the person who gets the most right first, or have a massive rollover. And what a Christmas booty that would be, as Carl said. All those. Imagine what you could have. Indecent proposal, maybe.
Who knows?
You know what I mean?
I've got some real junk, so I can bring that in.
Yeah. The mean machine.
Imagine
with
someone
Vinnie
this
Jones.
Christmas. Yeah, exactly. This Christmas, I can't believe it. Oh, thank you so much for the Pelican Brief. I noticed you left the price on.
And it's on VHS as well.
Oh, great.
Brilliant.
This is a perfect Christmas gift, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. Okay.
Got it.
Now,
Some
So that's going.
CDs.
That's going. That's
Christmas
going
gift.
on. That's a big prize. It's a big weekend prize on XFM. Educating Ricky, part 2. Right. What's the clues left?
Well, we've got left the headlines. I'll be no buying one of them.
Yeah.
And we've also got chicken. You believe it? Chicken. You believe it? So they're the 2 now left. Which one's you going for?
Chicken, you believe it, is not that picture, is it? In that we saw.
Which picture?
The bloke with the.
No.
Right.
no.
Okay.
God, that was bad.
Right. Okay.
So
I just better explain
We
that.
can't really discuss this on air, can we?
Well, we can. Steve brought in Carl, the best book ever, which is, what is it?
I found it when I was moving house. It's an FHM publication. It's kind of like lots of grotesque pictures and stories, and like a book of freaks and weirdos and.
And
grotesques.
Carl opened it, and the first one was like
at the back. I
at the
started
back.
from the
Well,
back.
you couldn't believe your luck, could you?
What was it?
when
What was number 50?
A bloke with 2 heads.
And he said, "What's number 1?"
Yeah.
And then number 6, there's a bloke who's a squid or something.
Octopus.
Yeah. yeah. He's loving it. At number 1, he said, well, it's just a fella under a rock. And I went, oh no, read on, I think I know about this. And it's the fella that was found, he caused a landslide while having sex with a chicken. And they pulled him up, and there he is, the chicken.
Right,
so Carl could not believe his luck. So it's not that.
Chicken, you believe it?
I'll have that one
You're
then.
going for that one?
Yeah.
Right, well, we've talked a lot on the show about,
We talked a lot on the show.
Yeah.
about animals without heads.
we haven't! We haven't! We talked about cockroaches could live without a head for 7 days.
Yeah, we've talked about that, and then of course there was the well-known one about the fella who had his head cut off, and he
blinked and
he said to his
head.
mate, count how many times I blink when my head comes off.
Yeah, when you told it to me, you said his head came off, and he said, as he said to the basket, he said, quick, count how many times I blink. And it was Nick Frost that had to go, no, Carl, no, he said it before. I went, and that was lovely. So, yeah, we've talked quite a lot about things, heads coming off. Go on then.
Well, this one,
Yeah.
right, back in 1945.
You looked it up the date.
Got a specific date. Wow.
Mate Jonathan sent this one, you know him as well, the lad at the BBC, right? He emailed this one in, so thanks for that. Chicken, it's called Mike.
There's a chicken called. Sorry, I missed a bit there. There's a chicken called. Mike.
Chicken called Mike.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
What happened was, it was living on a farm, right? Loads of chickens knocking about, and the owner of the farm is like, you know, getting ready for tea, and his wife says, go out and get a fresh chicken, because my mum's coming round. So he thinks, well, I want to get a good one in, because I want to impress her. Cause back then, even then, they wanted to impress the mother-in-law and that. So they said, alright, I'll just nip out and get one. So he sees Mike, chicken, running around.
Is this during the war or after the war?
1945, I'd say that was after.
No, it ended,
It ended in 1945.
Yeah, September, go on.
So chicken's running about. He thinks that one, that looks all right. I'll have that one.
Like
So he picks it up, and he cuts his head off.
Oh.
Puts it on the block, cuts its head off, runs about a bit, like they do. He thinks it'll stop in a minute. Keeps running about. And what's going on here? Right? He's now like chasing the chicken without an head.
Yeah.
He's saying he should die in a minute. Anyway, doesn't die. Chicken's walking around with no head. Lives for 18 months.
Yeah.
Chicken with no head.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Well, I'll tell you, I've heard this story before, Rick, and the explanation, as I understand it, was that certain vital cords, spinal cords, weren't severed when the head came off, so that was why it continued to live.
Yep.
I don't know if that sounds plausible.
It's fine, absolutely fine. How did it take on protein and energy?
The fella who owned it, he said, well, hang on a minute. He said, I could kill it now.
But I've got a wonder chicken here.
But he's thinking, it must really want to live.
Sure.
Right? If it survived that, they sort of got something here.
Yeah.
So he, what he does, he gets a little eye droplet thing that he used to use on it. Obviously not anymore, right? And he filled it with grain and water, and it had a big hole in its neck where its head used to be. And he,
incredibly.
and he dropped.
You know what? There's. I mean, that is possible then. If it, without infection, without infection, if he was taking on things, it is possible, right? Why?
Why what?
Why did he do it? How cruel is that? I mean, that was not cruel because the chicken obviously, you know.
He said if he thought it was a bit fed up, he would have killed it. He said, but he was running around quite happy.
Well, it wasn't fed up at all because it had no brain.
Well,
What do you mean? Wow.
I'm just saying what...
It was nothing. It was just sinew and nerves and electrical impulses breaking down energies, right? That's all it was. It didn't have a brain. So it was... But I'm worried about the psychology of keeping a pet without a head. I'm worried more about what the farmer was thinking than the
I
chicken.
tell you this, what the question I'm asking is, was the mother-in-law impressed? I mean, that's why he set out, to shot Mike's head
This is lovely, but it's just the head where you don't kill a chicken all at once.
I thought we were having chicken for dinner. Come and look at this, running around the yard.
Yeah! Oh, dear.
So, there you go, you've learned something there.
Yeah, I have learned something.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, one more.
That farmer, I've learned that farmer was very strange indeed.
Yeah.
There you go.
I have to say, to be fair to Carl, I have a feeling like when I read it, the reason he kept it alive was as a novelty. He got charged people to come and see the incredible headless chicken called Mike.
Right.
So, there we are.
There you go.
That's great.
So, tune, Steve?
A tune, yeah. I just thought I'd like to hear a little bit more from that NERD album. We played some of this from there when it first came out many moons ago. Since then, it's gone on. It's won awards, all sorts. And obviously, NERD now, Nerd, as they're sometimes known, kind of big producers. They're producing Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, all kinds of people. But this is a track from their album.
I've heard
and
they're
it's called-
wicked.
They are indeed. And this is called Things Are Getting Better. Correct. NERD. From their album In Search Of, and that's Things Are Getting Better. After the break we got more Educating Ricky and the results to this week's Rockbusters.
And Richard Ashcroft.
Oh, dynamite.
Richard Ashcroft. Check the Meaning on XFM 104.9. Ricky Gervais with me, Steve Merchant. Carl's just remembered a little story he was excited to tell you.
Okay.
Go on.
Oh, are you going to tell him?
Oh, okay. When we went into this cafe last week after Carl got his soil, we got 2 big bags of soil. I was going, get a bag for me. And he was like, no, I can walk home. After about 10 yards, he was going on my arms at it. So we had to get a cab. So we stopped in this cafe, he had spaghetti bolognese. You were loving it, weren't you?
It was good, a good little day out.
And there was a woman that worked there, and she sort of, I could see her sort of looking at me. And she looked and then she came over and said, are you off the telly? And I went, yeah. She went, yeah, Chris Moyles.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
And I just laughed, and we both started laughing. She went, no, sorry, I said, no, I'm not, Chris, what's your name? And I went, and I had to say it, I went, Ricky Gervais. She went, oh, no. She went, oh, the thing in the office. I went, yeah.
No, the
Yeah,
funny
so-
thing was, she went and said,
Oh, no, I saw you on
Jonathan
Ross, that's it, yeah.
So she'd obviously watched the Jonathan Ross show thinking Chris Miles has, lost his looks a bit or whatever. That's what I found funny, the fact that she must have
That's it,
watched
yeah.
it thinking
Yeah.
that...
Yeah, she went, no, I saw you the other day. And I was like, yeah. She went, oh. And then we were still sort of laughing. I was thinking, she went, oh, sorry to be back. I was going, no, it's fine. I was thinking, yeah, imagine that. Just like, great. There's not a better one to pick.
That's just appalling.
Oh, that was lovely. It's the second time as well.
That you've been mistaken for Chris Moyles?
Yeah.
Oh man, you've got to feel bad about that.
I've had Moyles, I've had Vegas a few
Johnny
times.
Vegas, yeah. I can imagine.
So
Do you
yeah.
think, like, people are going up to Miles going, you do that thing without working in an office?
Yeah. Well, don't know. I don't know whether I hope that or not.
I don't know. It depends what he answers.
Yeah. So yeah.
I thought you were going to say that, are you Chris Moyles? No, what's your name? Ricky Gervais. Never heard of you. That'd have been brilliant.
So, yeah, okay, right. Educated Ricky, number 3.
Ricky, yeah.
Well, we've got the emails in.
Yeah,
We
people
are
are they're finally trickling in. I think people are getting them.
People have got the full 3 right, but I mean, it's still worth emailing in because we never know who we're going to pick as a winner.
I'll tell you what, we've still got 50 minutes before we give the prize out, so let's give them again. Just give us a quick run there, because I think these are tantalising. They really are.
Yeah. So the first one, the fella has only got 1 badge left.
Yeah.
That's E. The second one, the unmarried lady is a friend to eat out with. MD.
Yeah.
And the third one, I really, really love that woman. I love everything she does. That's M.
Excellent.
Alright, Ricky.Gervais at xfm.co.uk. You can win all kinds of prizes.
Educating Ricky,
Right,
number 3.
final one. You've had hippopotamus.
Loved
You had chicken. You believe it. And the last one is I'll be no buying one of them.
I'll have that one.
Right. Interesting one. This. I mean, I spent probably 3 days looking for this stuff. right? And another one that I came across, right? And I was going to use. I was a bit
What a
like,
great life you've got!
I was just, you know, going on the internet and that, and I also, looking magazines, found a story about a bloke who, I don't know, he was messing about with a chainsaw and
I don't know, let's go with the chainsaw. He was juggling a midget, and, whilst taking his alligator for a walk, and, go on.
and his arm, come off, right?
Come off! What do you mean his arm come off?
The chainsaw took it off.
Yeah,
so
okay.
It's like, oh.
Again,
Anyway,
He's going, oh no! Oh.
so there's a picture of him on an exercise bike, sort of just with a little stump sort of balancing, but he's getting on with his life, he's happy and everything's fine, he's not complaining, it's his own fault, he's got no one to blame, right? So anyway, he goes to the doctors, and the doctor said, I can do something there. So he goes, well, it's alright, you know, I'm getting by alright, don't worry about it. And he goes, no, we've got an arm in, right? We can attach that, a real arm, from someone who's, I think they'd passed away or lost an arm or something. And
They lost an arm and didn't want it back.
Yeah, he went, I'll have it. Are you using that? No, because I know someone.
Because I know a bloke, actually.
Yeah. Well, can't you just put this one back on? Wow, it's first come, first serve, really.
I was just building a bionic man. We've replaced one arm with a robot's arm, so we got a spare one.
so the doctor's going, let me put it on. He's like, well, alright then. So they do,
Ungrateful bastard.
so he does the operation, right? Everything's fine, he's loving it, he's happy again because he said he can brush his teeth.
Right, okay, if this is going to be
He's
something
loving
like...
it again because now he can brush his teeth.
Right, if this is going to be, and it was a leg, or
No.
it was a chimp's arm, or
it was the arm of a killer.
It was two left arms, right? I'm going to kill you.
Oh, let's leave it then.
What is it? What's the answer?
No, it's not that, I'm just
What is...
messing.
Okay,
Right. So he says, go on and do it. So he sews it on, and like I say, he's happy, he's brushing his teeth, he can have a pint in the pub, he's lifting a pint with it, all his mates are happy for him. It goes on for about 2 years, everything's fine. Then it all starts going flaky.
Oh, I knew it would.
Was it made of chocolate?
Alright, so it all goes all like gammy, and then for some
The arm starts
reason
going gammy.
it goes gammy, and it gets longer.
Of course it does.
So there's a picture of him, right, stood in the magazine. He's stood there with his arms by his side. One arm's normal, the other one is like past his knees. He can pull his socks up without bending over.
So
It's
is this going to
really-
be they gave him the arm of an 8-year-old child who would have been the tallest man in the world?
No, he just said, oh, what am I going to do? And the doctor said, oh, there's not much we can do. And left it.
Wait a minute, you can't
That's
leave
not
it
a
there.
story.
So, Carl,
That's
what?
not
You've
a
got to
story.
tell us the explanation. Was it an incredible plastic arm? An incredible expanding arm? Did he fight crime later?
No,
Well, that's the end of the story. You've got no scientific explanation as to why...
That's why I didn't pick it.
But you just told it to us anyway!
Yeah, but I'm just saying the sort of knowledge I come over when I'm looking for the good knowledge. Yeah?
So that
Why did
hasn't
his
even
arm
made the
grow?
list.
Why did this arm grow? He must have had an adult arm. They couldn't have given him an arm.
I don't know. It's just one of them.
It's rubbish again,
It's
isn't
not...
it?
Well, I thought it's an interesting story, but you
It's
should have read...
not, and it's rubbish.
You
It
should
didn't
have read to
happen.
the end. There was photos.
Yeah.
But you should have read to the end of the article, Carl.
No, I did. And he said, you know, he's not happy and he wishes he wouldn't have had it done and all that, and, you know.
Are you sure this wasn't entirely unexpected?
No, seriously, he was saying, you know, his teeth are nice and clean again because he could brush them and that, but his arm's getting in the way. Ruining his shirts and everything. So I'll leave that.
Let's play a tune. Let's come back with the next one, because I love the fact that this is like Ronnie Corbett telling one of his jokes. That's ironic. That wasn't even the story. He was going to tell
Oh,
us.
play it, record. Oh, God. That's alright, isn't it? Travis, then we'll come through. Quite like that on XFM 104.9. Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, and Carl Pilkington in the chair. We've had the answers in. It's Rockbusters. It's the results. Carl, give us the winning answers.
Right, Steve, you search for a winner.
I will.
That'll be
At
nice,
random.
we can slip into that. So the first one was, the fella's only got one badge left.
I have no idea.
The initial was E.
Go on.
Will I get out the answer now?
Yeah,
Steve?
give the answer. Yeah,
I think you should.
That was his last sticker. Yeah?
Elastica, the band Elastica. I'm not
doesn't
sure.
work.
No,
Doesn't work.
The word sticker and and a badge are not interchangeable.
And it's not his last sticker. It's Elastica.
Yeah, but, like, is Lastica. So, someone's got it.
Oh, so say a different word and it works. Oh, so if the band is Lastica, then it works. God, if only Justin would have named it different. If she'd have just gone, let's call it Islastica, then we'd have, yeah.
Second one.
What was the clue?
The unmarried lady is a friend they eat out with.
Go on.
That's Miss Dynamite.
Miss Dynamite.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, but it's been running for 4 weeks. We've done the obvious ones.
Doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Miss Dynamite.
Again, if she'd have called herself Miss Dynamite, it would work. She didn't. See, what's happening is pop stars are letting you down by naming themselves incorrectly for your clues. Those don't work. They don't count.
And the last one, I really, really love that woman. I love everything she does. That was M.
Yeah.
That was Madonna.
Yeah, Madonna. I'm going to give you that. That work. Yeah. Right. That's the end of that feature until you can get ones that work. Okay. So you won't hear any more of that because it's rubbish. You're running out already. Sorry. Do you just think of the first 3 things that come in your mind and make them fit? Just think of 3 bands and make a clue, and if it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, it doesn't matter.
I just went through again.
Rubbish. It was rubbish.
Whatever.
Right, play a record.
Hang on, we've got a winner.
We have. Actually, you say all this, Rick, but lots of people got them right. Which
Yeah. So
I don't know what that proves, really. I don't know if that says, you know, you're the tosser or
Oh, they're as stupid as Carl?
one or the other.
Okay.
But I'm going to give it to Simon and Daisy in Hitchin. They got the right answers, and well done to them. They get the Pelican Brief and some other treats.
Serves you right.
I look forward to
Serves
that.
you right for understanding Carl. Swade's new one. Obsessions. On XFM 104.9. Well, I'm Ricky Gervais, obviously, Steve Merchant, Carl Pilkington. Well, Carl, that's about it, and we got sidetracked on the last Educating Ricky. You telling me about a man whose arm grew.
well, something went wrong. I'm not saying it grew. Just saying.
What? The rest of him shrunk?
It went long.
It went long. What, is that growing now? What do you mean it went long? Did it grow, or what, did it come loose?
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, so it's hanging by a thread that's made it look long. Within the skin.
It's like a pair of tights if something is too heavy.
Arms are very much like tights. They are very much
the
like
one
tights.
the one that we didn't get round to on Educating
Yeah.
Ricky was I'll be null buying one of them.
Go on.
Are you familiar with the saying white elephant?
Something is a white elephant. Yeah, I don't think so.
Hold on. You phoned me last night and said, what does white elephant mean? And I told you.
Yeah, I know, but I know where it came from, but I just was wondering what it was about.
So how, in what way is Educating Ricky you calling me up and asking me something?
Well, do you know how it came about?
You've given away some of the secrets of the show there, it would appear. I didn't realise he was phoning you for information.
Well, you just asked me what the term white elephant meant in sort of like colloquial.
Did he say, why are you interested, Carl? No reason.
No, go on.
Well, what it is, ages ago when...
So what do we understand white elephant to mean?
Well, something that's useless, that's like a bit of a, you know, something that you wouldn't want around that's just stood there doing nothing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Carl.
So years ago, when people used to use elephants...
Years ago, go on.
When people used to use elephants?
Yeah, more than they do now.
Right.
More than they do now!
This doesn't involve a midget, does it?
So you know, they'd use them in the workplace and stuff. Sure.
Yeah, as factories.
Sort of,
yeah.
To move stuff around and that.
Yeah, security guards.
Yeah. Can't trust them with the buns, though. That's why they stopped using them.
Oh, right. God, go on.
So there was loads of elephants knocking about, and the thing is, right,
you couldn't move from.
if you have a lot of something, you also have a lot of demic ones, don't you?
A lot of what?
You know, sort of demicky ones that aren't right, really.
Demicky?
Well, you know, like, they weren't properly. They weren't
properly. Sorry, Carl, what are you doing?
Right, I'm getting to the story. So what I'm telling you is...
They were a bit demicky, so they weren't
Basically,
properly.
Have you started making words up?
Right.
Yeah, you Stanley Unwin.
Listen.
Reincarnated.
Demicky?
Yeah.
There was a lot of albino elephants knocking about.
Where is this?
Olden times.
Africa.
Yes! Should we say Africa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If an answer's got a question mark at the end, I'm not
Well,
sure
it's
an
either Africa or India, but I'll give you a clue. Well, these elephants, do they have big ears or little ears?
I didn't sort of notice the size of the elephants. What I noticed is they were white because they were albino elephants.
Okay.
Right? So that's why they're heading. I would be moved buying one of them.
Okay.
No way!
So what would happen is people who didn't know what they were doing, like, you know, you get people making a mistake buying cars that are full of problems and that. Back then when people were buying elephants, they'd go up to someone saying after an elephant, and the fella would say, yeah, I've got one here for you, this is a nice one. And it was all white and stuff, and it had like blue eyes.
You should never trust a used elephant salesman.
This elephant's white with blue eyes.
Right,
This is great.
So a fellow who didn't know what he was doing would buy the elephant and he'd get it back and it'd be all sort of lazy and stuff and what we're doing and stuff. And he'd say, what's up with this? And his mate, who's a bit of an expert with elephants, and go, oh, where have you bought that from? And he said, oh, I got it off that fella. And he goes, oh...
All this embellishing nonsense he does with the story.
You shouldn't have bought that. So he goes, why? And he says, it's only albino, isn't it? And he's like, what does that mean? And he said, oh, it gets tired. It's not that good at doing work and that. You shouldn't have bought it.
From you.
But elephants back then were like a god. You know what I mean?
Right.
You couldn't say, oh, I'm sick of this and I'm going to abandon it or anything, because elephants were seen as like pretty high up on the chain of things. So they'd end up being stuck with an elephant that's an albino, couldn't do much, gets tired, basically gets in the way. So they said, that's where they're saying, like, you know, oh, bought a bit of a white elephant there.
What do you reckon, Rick?
I feel like I haven't been educated. I feel like I've lost something. So at a time in my life that I can never get back. I feel like I've sort of been soiled and I don't know where to start. I'm angry. Do you know what I mean? I'm angry.
Sure, yeah, I can see that.
And all that rubbish around. Look at his little face.
Well,
what was that? All that shit about a second-hand elephant salesman and his mate knew about elephants. What is it? What are they? They had blue eyes. What are you?
Well,
albinos have red eyes for a start.
that's it. We've run out of time.
Oh, what? I mean, what are you going to do about this next week? Are you going to actually do some educating next week? And what about Rockbusters? Are you going to make the clues proper cryptic clues?
Well, that's the teaser, isn't it? That's what we'll leave them with.
Will it be any good next week? Tune in and find out on XFM 104.9. Red Hot Chili Peppers on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant.
Hello there.
Carl Pilkington.
Alright.
Don't be nervous. We might see a difference in Carl. He's a little bit shy. There's someone in the BBC filming this, part of that celebrity boxing thing. The Fight, I think it's called, and they want to get a little clip of this, so we're going to let them film for a minute and then they're going to go away. Is that alright, Carl?
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be on camera, do you? Do you?
I think it ruins radio, doesn't it? Do you know
Well,
what I
not
mean?
for the people listening, it doesn't.
Yeah, but it does, because people are like, oh, he sounds like a bit of a looker.
What you?
Yeah. And then they'll see it on the telly, and they'll go, God, yeah, you know, his head is round.
It is round though, isn't it?
So,
Guess what? I got a call yesterday, you'll love this, Steve, from MTV. And, wondering if, they could screen test Carl.
That's outrageous.
I'm loving it, and I was going, yeah, and I said, yeah, it's fine. I'll come down with him, and I was saying, what about this now? And they were loving it. I called him out and went, oh no. I went, why not? He went, well, I'm looking at my reflection now in the mirror. He said, I shouldn't be on the telly.
What would you wear for your screen test, Carl? What kind of look would you try and cultivate? Because you've got to bear in mind that the audience out there, they don't know what you look like. So, would you be a snappy dresser like, say, Jonathan Ross, or would you go for your kind of street cash look?
Can't wear a suit.
You can't wear a suit?
Don't hold it well. So, I'm thinking, I don't know, I'll probably wear my woolly hat, because that takes some years off me.
It does, he looks about 10 with a woolly hat on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
is it quite a cool woolly hat, or has it got a bobble?
it's charcoal, I'd say it's the in colour.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll probably wear me anorak.
Right.
Oh, he's going for the... He's going for glam.
Anorak
He's
look.
going for quite a glam look. Oh,
no one else
dressed
has done
for a jumble sale. Wow. Yeah.
But I'm not that happy about it all, to be honest.
Are you going to do it? You're not going to do it?
Well, I'm sort of stuck in the middle, because throughout my life so far, I've never planned for anything, right? It's just always happened.
Yeah.
The time, you know what I mean, being in plays at school, never planned it, but when I did it, I went down a store.
It was
that sort of
fun.
thing.
Yeah, we all remember that.
So,
As I remember, you did Little Donkey.
did Little Donkey, yeah.
And then later, someone was filming at the back. Was it your dad's mate?
My dad's mate.
Yeah, and on the camcorder, he listened to it back, watched him playing it. His dad says, just off camera, what does he say?
I don't want to say it because I'm in charge of the show and I think be irresponsible.
He looks like a right twat.
So,
And so he gets home, lives watching that, and then here's his dad just off camera go, he looks like a right twat.
yeah, alright, yeah.
What are you worried about? Your dad saying that on the
Can I
word?
just interject, because I'm really worried about this idea of Carl being on MTV, because the problem is that, you know, let's be honest, Rick, I mean, we're getting by the skin of our teeth, aren't we, really? It's only Carl that's keeping this afloat.
Yeah.
And if he gets on MTV and the world sort of gets a sense of him and they understand him, and he won't be ours anymore, we won't be able to control him, it'll be out there, it'll be in the public domain.
That's the thing. No, that's the thing. That's the terrible thing, though, isn't it? It's like Carl is my pet, but I realise I've got to release him into the wild, sort of. And you know, because I love him, I know he's got to go free.
Sure,
but I wanna.
It's like Kez. Maybe someone would beat him to death and we won't have to worry.
I'll have you on though, I'll have you on as a guest. Which gets me on to something we've got coming up today.
Oh yeah, he's got a new idea.
Yeah?
Right.
Do you know, like, I've talked about ghosts and we had that good discussion the other week walking to Piccadilly Circus Station, and I was telling you about ghosts and you were saying, Carl, don't be an idiot, and all that. Spoke to a woman in the week, done a little interview with
We've
her.
done a little interview.
Done a little interview, 2 minutes or so, with a woman who's got ghosts in her house. So,
I look forward to hearing that later, that sounds brilliant.
coming up later.
Well, I'm going to play a classic tune now. I've just gone straight for it. I've gone for the jugular. This is Ziggy Stardust by David Bowie. Ziggy Stardust by David Bowie on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me, Steve Merchant, and Carl Pilkington. Carl's also nervous. You had a bit of shock last week, didn't you?
Just a little bit.
His dad tuned in
To the show.
Yeah. And Carl's never told him that he actually speaks on the show. He just said, just press the buttons, right? He's kept him from it. You used to do radio before and you never told him, did you? It's because of the little donkey incident.
Yeah.
When he went along to it.
Was that the twat incident?
Yeah. And so he's never told him since, but they promised not to listen, haven't they?
Well, my mum said to me, don't worry, don't be put off this week, because, you know, I've told him he can't listen, but I hear my dad in the background kind of going, well, thanks. So, he might be listening. So that's extra pressure. Plus a camera crew in.
No, you don't like it, do you?
This is good training for MTV, because then he can watch you on TV, and what's he going to make of that?
Oh.
Yeah.
Does he know you're bald?
Yeah.
You don't keep your hat on when you're with him and say, oh no, I'll just press the buttons.
No, it's just, you know, it's like when I was in any plays, I didn't tell him.
No.
Any sort of parents' evening, I never gave him the note.
Really?
Yeah.
Does everyone at the teachers think you were just an orphan?
No, just on an off chance. My mate's dad spoke to me dad once, I think, and sort of said, oh, you going to school to see how, you know, your kid's doing? So what are you talking about? So there's a parents' evening, so he
Said what kid?
He went to one, and that's when Mrs. Matthews said I'd never be a high flyer.
How wrong was she? Yeah. I think we should call Mrs. Matthews and make her eat her words. She'd turn on to MTV when, I don't know, like their slamming session.
Yeah.
And they're go, that's young Pilkington. He's bald, but it's definitely him.
I recognise that woolly hat.
Yeah. Did you see Celebrity Fit Club yesterday?
I missed it. I didn't watch any TV this week. The only TV I watched was, Are You Good in Bed? I already knew the answer.
What was it? You had to tick points?
Yeah.
Right.
It was no. I was off the scale.
Well, talking off the scales, Rick Waller.
Really? Is he
Yeah.
off? What's
well,
that?
what he did is he lost weight and they couldn't believe it. And he had a big argument with Harvey and they said go, never come back to it. Right? And then he got to weigh and then he'd lost sort of like 10 pounds or something. And they were really. They said you've been starving yourself, haven't you? And he admitted it. And
Well, he just wasn't wearing his underpants.
yeah. But he was whinging all the time. He was watching it. He was doing a press. It was going, I've hurt my arm. Then he was going, I feel sick. And he was going, and he was just lying all the time about whether he was doing the routine and what he was eating and stuff. And I thought, that's me with this celebrity box. It is because it's sort of like, and they go, how's it going? Did you have a drink this week? And I go, no, haven't had a beer this week. No. Did you do the exercise today? And I go, yep. Yeah, I've done all that. Yeah. And I try and get out of the sparring because it hurts because there's a man hitting me in the face for fun.
Right. Because you know that's what boxing is.
So, yeah, that is being hit. Yeah. I like all the bits except the being hit. I don't even mind hitting someone.
Right,
I'd be willing to hit someone. It's the getting hit that I don't like.
Because I know you're a big fan of, like wearing the clothes, the sort of sporty gear.
I'm
I know
looking good, aren't I?
you look good, and you've obviously switched better.
No, they gave me this for training.
Free of charge.
This was free
So I
for
know
training.
that's a perk you love.
So,
and I know you like, kind of the sort of various sort of nutritional drinks you've got. I know you're a big fan of those.
I love the protein shake because it tastes like chocolate. You know what? I've put on a couple of pounds since I've been doing this training.
Right.
I think it is the extra meal and.
So you're adding the protein, but not working out enough to take it off again.
Yeah, but I think I have actually changed a bit. I've got an inch on my chest, but an inch off my waist. So even though I've put on weight, there must be a little bit of muscle happening.
So I just to recap there slightly, you're enjoying all the trappings of boxing.
Yeah.
But not the boxing.
Not the getting hit in the nose.
Right.
That's the one.
And you are aware that that's what will be happening during the actual fight.
No, because I've got a cunning plan.
Okay.
I'm gonna duck and dive.
Okay.
Bob and weave, dance. I'm gonna dance.
Well, I read in the paper yesterday, I don't know how much truth there is, that Grant Bovey has recruited celebrity hypnotist Paul McKenna to help him win.
Yeah,
so
could
I
be
don't
true.
know if that's a really true, because I know you've got Spit the Dog. You've got a couple of ventriloquists and an impressionist on your side.
I've got pork pie from Desmond.
Yeah, exactly,
Just
yeah.
getting me tuned
in your corner, yeah.
mentally.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's all a bit of fun.
What do you reckon, Carl? Do you think he's in with a chance?
What's McKenna going to be doing? Is like Grant Bovey going to be turned into a chicken and... You know what I mean?
He's going to do an Elvis impression and take off
If
his
I
coat.
say the right words.
No, I think he's probably going to just help him focus and...
I think there's lots of sports psychologists out there at the moment getting people, so I'm sure it's valid. If it's true, I'm sure it's fine. But I've been getting tuned mentally, learning how to hit.
Yeah.
That was my method. Eating and hitting, I think is.
And do you work out to any music? I mean, do you put on the Rocky soundtrack? Because I know you've got a special CD with music from all 5 films, haven't you?
No, we don't. It's I think they have the radio on down there, but you don't hear it. It's all you hear is people shouting, saying things like, "That's not like a fighter," and me going, "I'm not a fighter. I'm a comedian."
And is it quite intimidating down there? I mean, do they?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they're nice people, but
I'm getting used to it now. But it is a different world, and I was quite scared, and I didn't.
When you say I mean, is it like they're gangsters? I mean, is it kind of?
No,
I don't mean that. I just mean, has it
no.
got that feel? You know, when you see it in films, they walk into those places, and you know, they're hard nuts, and there's that feel like.
Well, they're all they're all ex-boxers and stuff. So yeah, but I mean, but no, they're not. No, that's not. I mean,
I suppose it's like they're real men.
Well, yeah, and they don't understand really that I don't like getting hit on the nose. And they say, well, no one gets hit on the nose, and it took me a long time to get over that. Just taking a couple of punches.
Yeah.
I wanted to rule it out, and but you know, it's okay now. And of course I know they're mollycoddling me. They're not. They're using about 25% power, and I'm still.
And you wear the headgear, do you?
Oh yeah, and the gum shield. Yeah, I wanted to wear a crash helmet,
Right,
but they said no. And carry a baseball bat, and they said that's technically illegal. But I'm looking for. I'm a changed man, Carl. What we got coming up?
Got a bit of a Death in Vegas with vocals from Liam Gallagher.
Final question for you, Rick. Do you
Go on.
think you'll carry on boxing after this is finished?
Competitively?
No, just the training and stuff.
Yeah,
and
I do the
you think so?
training. Yeah, no, I love the training. I love learning the skills, and I do enjoy the training. I don't relish getting punched around. And I'm not worried about the fight at all. I'm really looking forward to the fight, because Grant's a novice like me. It's just when you get in with an ex-pro who can destroy you. So you're scared of it, and you know, they never lose their rag, and they're really cool, and they're really nice, and they've never even hit me by mistake. But even just tapping you like that in the face hurts.
I was walking down Finchley Road and a couple of sixth formers said, "Oh, you lanky goggle-eyed freak," and I just wondered if maybe you could pop round and have a word with them.
I will.
Some of your friends.
An enemy of yours is an enemy of mine.
Good.
Scorpio Rising, Death in Vegas on XFM 104.9, Steve. I'm Ricky Gervais. Carl's a little bit less stressed now. The camera crew have gone, his dad's not listening, we think.
Well, who knows? Who knows?
But, you're chilled.
I tell you what though, my mum was loving it. Do you know Rockbusters?
Do I know Rockbusters? I love Rockbusters. I think I dream of it.
She was taking part. I mean, she doesn't know a lot of the new bands and that, but she made some up for some older bands and that.
Oh, she did some herself?
She made some herself, sent them in the post.
So are you going to use those today?
She's not quite got the hang of it. So,
unlike her genius son.
Have you got them there? Can we hear what they are?
You keep talking a second then.
I'm quite excited. I mean, if they're even approaching, say, the genius of Wet Knee Houston.
Yeah.
There was another one which was something to do with a trench, Carl. What was that?
Oh, that was Dandy Warhols. That was a good one.
Dandy Warhols.
I think that was his finest moment. Yeah.
Incidentally, I've got an email here from someone called Sauda, if that's a he or a she, but let's assume it's a she, just for glam's sake.
Yeah.
She said she saw an old man eating a Twix last week, Carl, so that blows your theory up.
I'm not having it.
Okay. So if you are a bloke, he's calling you a liar. So maybe you want a little rumble later?
In fact, if you are a bloke, he's calling you a girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, then. These are ones that my mum's made up.
Brilliant.
Right, just in case you're a new listener, I'll give some initials out and a cryptic clue. And it makes up a band, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or a solo artist.
Yeah,
Not so much cryptic as what you're thinking. But go on.
Well, my mum sent this one. This group would be good at doing your hair.
This group would be good at doing your hair.
TP.
Is there a group called the Hairdressers from the 60s?
This group would be good at doing
What?
your hair.
TP.
TP. Is it the something?
The Platters.
The Platters.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, so that's alright.
Nice.
Let's have a look. This group sound like dinosaurs.
You sound like dinosaurs.
T-Rex.
T-Rex.
Yeah. I see what you mean. They're not so much cryptic, are they?
This group
Leave her alone, they're good.
This group likes being by the sand and the sea.
This group likes being...
Are they the Beach Boys, boys?
Beach Boys.
This band are called the Beatles. The Beatles.
Hang on.
He said...
We just have a...
What else you got?
It's funny because one of them that she's done I'm actually doing today I thought of in the week.
Right,
So,
is it the same clue?
it was, yeah.
Wow,
But
great minds think alike,
Here's
so
the
this
last
is obviously
one.
coincidence.
Here's the last one from her. This guy sounds superb.
This guy sounds superb.
The Bachelors.
Glenn Campbell.
That's good. I like that.
I'll tell you this, I think you should get onto one of the big game organisations, Parker Brothers or whatever, because this has got to be, I mean, this could sweep the nation at Christmas. Don't you think this is the perfect Christmas game?
Yeah.
Well, I think this is what's going to make or break the MTV thing. to be honest.
Right, some kind of TV version.
Yeah. I'm just thinking into ad breaks, you know, coming up next is this band.
Be careful though, Carl, because, you know, make sure you retain the rights, because I can see this selling abroad. You know,
Yeah,
you could
and I
sort
can
them
see
out.
someone coming along and taking the sort of like the Rockbusters and changing one word and like another game out of it and just using the same format. I know. I can't think of them there, but they could change. So
Sort of like...
they change the word rock to something else and have it.
What could it be? Brick, block?
Yeah, and so you have to, you know what I mean? So be
Blockbusters.
careful.
Blockbusters will never work.
Look at his little face.
So we're doing that later. Got some good prizes.
Okay. We'll talk about the
We'll
prizes
talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Educating Ricky.
Yeah, got that.
We've got the woman who's got a ghost in her house.
Yeah. It's a shame she's not here live, because I feel like I want to ask a few questions, Rick. I don't know about you.
Don't worry, I've covered it all.
You've covered it all, God.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, play a record.
Rick, I know probably you, like me, are just too busy really to keep abreast of new music, aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, we're busy people, we've got, you know, important showbiz parties to go to and stuff. That's why I have friends of mine who send me compilations and stuff. That's one of my quarterly compilations from my friend Harry, and that's All Downhill From Here by Jim O'Rourke.
I've got a new track coming up later actually that I think you might like. So you know, we're inflaming each other's desire for new songs as well as going back to the back catalogue of some classics.
Sure.
Alright? I love adverts better though.
So I do. I love that. It's weird.
Missy Elliott on XFM 104.9, Ricky Gervais with me, Steve and Carl. Carl, why have you got a headache? You got a headache?
just a bit stressful because the moves on this week.
Are you leaving house?
Oh, by the way, the XFM listeners came round to my house and bought the futon and table.
Did they?
Were they happy with it?
Quite normal. They were well happy.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe the luck with it.
What do you mean quite normal? What do you mean quite normal?
Well, it's always a bit scared, isn't it, getting people round.
I imagine they were scared.
Well,
And were they excited to see you? Could they, I mean, they were, you know, could you tell that they were pretty pleased to see you?
no, I don't think so. I mean,
You're
but-
Carl Pilkington.
yeah, but the fellas sort of, I mean, they brought the whole family round, which was a bit odd.
Well, it's not often they get the chance to visit a living freak.
Anyway, no, they were nice. They
And
were
you're
nice.
moving now, yeah? He said he'd phone me up today. You know, it was absolutely tipping it down, right? He had to cycle in, right? Because he said, because of the move, he doesn't want to leave his bike round there, right? And he said, and Suzanne, oh, I can't say this in case he's listening, can I?
He won't know.
He said Suzanne's hired the oldest removal man in London.
You should hear him. And the thing is, right, we booked him because everyone else happened to be booked out, but this fella's free, right? So he called up this morning, and I've never spoke to him, but he was on the phone. He sounded about 90.
Yeah.
Can't think that he's gonna have to do all the work.
And the thing is, right,
Cheap.
it seems
He
to be
only
cheap.
wanted some Werther originals.
Right, listen, it seemed to be cheap because it's £50 an hour. But how long is it going to take him?
Yeah.
So,
When's the move on then? When's the
oh, he's coming round. He came round today to bring some empty boxes, and he was struggling with them. So it actually happens on Wednesday.
Oh God.
Anyway, so
Rich, I noticed that you were laughing and almost had a heart attack. Doesn't bode well for the boxing match, does it?
Cough at the moment, haven't I? I've had my lemsip.
Anyway, what we're doing now, Carl?
well, I teased you with it before.
You gonna get it out again?
I'm always like trying to get you, you know, thinking, opening your mind up a
Right.
bit to ghosts and stuff.
Yes.
So this woman who I know, she said she'd come in and I could interview her to try and sort of, you know, get the belief out there.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
because
thought
there's not enough belief in the occult and rubbish out there.
So does she think she has a ghost?
she has, yeah, she's
got a
had a
She has, no, it's fact.
Yeah, no,
It's fact,
sure.
yeah, she has.
So I thought maybe it's a new feature we could try for a couple of weeks, see how it goes down. You know Parkinson.
Uh-huh.
What about Pilkington? Welcome to Pilkington. My guest today is Taryn. She's a plugger. You're still a plugger, right?
No, do co-management.
Right,
now.
she does co-management, but she was a plugger. She looked after Therapy, Raging Speed On, Slash, all the big names, yeah? But we're not here to talk about music today. We do a lot of that on XFM. Today we're talking ghosts. Now, Ricky and Steve, who I do the show with, they're not having any of it. So I said, well, I know someone who, you know, gets on with ghosts. There's a lot of them. So I thought I'd get you in today, have a little chat for a couple of minutes, just to sum up the story so they get an idea of what happened. You had a horse, yeah? You had it in some stables.
He hasn't let her speak yet.
You went to, like, look after it and that, play around with it, take it for a ride
Went
and
out
that.
riding.
Yeah. Two of your mates were in the stable where your horse is.
Not my stable, in the opposite stable.
In the opposite stable.
And I heard them giggling and
They're
getting
messing
up to
about and
something.
that, yeah. You heard them having a laugh. So you thought, right, what are they up to? So you go in, and they're messing about with a Ouija board.
Yeah.
Right. So, this is where you come in. Did you get involved with the Ouija board?
Unfortunately, I did.
Right. And what happened then?
I was like, oh, you don't believe in this. Oh, let me have a go.
Right.
And ask a few questions, put our hands on, and it actually started moving.
So a lot of the stuff you asked it, did the things happen that you
Yes,
asked?
they did.
Right? So that's scary for a start, right? We haven't even got to the ghost bit yet. So you mess about with
Trap
that.
soul,
Yeah.
I like to call
Right,
him.
trap soul. So you're messing about on the Ouija board, you say, right, I've had enough of this now.
Yeah.
I've got all the answers I need.
Yeah.
You go home,
Didn't like them.
you go in the house, and it's a bit nippy.
The house, the flat is absolutely fine. It's when I went into the bedroom. You've got to remember, it's a very, very warm, hot evening. And walk into the bedroom and note it is cold, colder than usual. But I'm actually quite glad because it's so hot.
Right, okay.
Completely ignored the fact that the windows were all shut but the curtains were blowing. Didn't sleep well at all.
Right.
Next evening, same again.
Freezing.
Yeah, very, very noticeably cold.
Curtains blowing.
Yeah, I'm fast asleep, get woken up, the wardrobe's opening.
So at this point, this is where we clear up. You're not on crack. You're not
Oh, never touched drugs in my entire life.
you're not a drinker.
No. I will have the odd glass of red wine.
Yeah, right. That's all right. They recommend that anyway. They say it's good for your heart.
What started happening was, as the week progressed, I also felt the bed covers at one point at night fold over, double bed, the bed covers fold over, and it was like someone was getting in the bed next to me. But you've got to remember, when you're in a deep sleep,
Yeah.
you're not quite thinking, and you're thinking, I'm losing it. I was getting more and more tired, more and more a little stressed. I'm really thinking I was having a breakdown. The final straw was when the clothes on the end of my bed that I just throw hit me.
How come you were going back home that night?
Because I was sceptical. In fact, 6 months ago I said, I don't want to go there, people will think I'm mad. But you know what? I don't care.
Yeah.
I know there's more out there.
Brilliant. Well, cheers for that, and thanks for being a guest on Pilkington.
Incisive investigative journalism there.
I like the fact that you've learned a lot from Parkinson, even stealing some of his questions, like, are you on crack? Which I know he always asks his guests.
Yeah. I like the fact that when she went, I don't know, I have the occasional red waves, well, that's alright for you. Good for your art. That was great.
It was brilliant.
That is the best interview technique I've ever heard anywhere.
I feel like there's still some questions unanswered.
Yeah, it hasn't proved it to me, I'll be honest,
No,
Carl.
it's
It
not.
hasn't proved me the existence of ghosts
I have to
and
say, Rick, that
poltergeists.
I was worried as soon as she got involved with the Ouija board. I was thinking, please do not get involved with that Ouija board.
Yeah. I was worried when said I heard some giggling coming from the other stable.
Yeah.
Don't go over there.
Yeah.
Don't go over there.
It's, what questions did she ask the Ouija board? You didn't ask her that, I noticed.
She didn't want
She
to.
didn't want to say.
No.
Okay.
Do you think it was something like why that you did to try and confuse the computer, and the spirit wheel got really annoyed, and they got confused, and they came back and started messing up her clothes?
But what do you think then? There's
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do I think?
What do you think? Do you know what I mean?
What about what? What? There's nothing I can answer there. There's nothing I can answer.
Alright, she said...
Well, I'll just keep saying I don't believe in the existence of ghosts because of the impossibility.
Right. Now, when she said... I mean, the interview I did for 50 minutes.
You did for how long?
50 minutes.
50,
But I
50
thought,
minutes.
yeah, we might use that at Christmas or something, right? But the thing is...
Well, that's
right,
the best you got out of 50 minutes.
Yeah, they're the highlights.
No, I'll be honest,
MTV are not going to call again.
I'll tell you what, right? It did get a bit dark, and I didn't want that
Don't
sort of
spook
stuff
people
going
out
out,
Saturday
right?
afternoon, yeah.
But I can understand the heating thing. I said, well, you know, in the full interview, I was saying, you know, that could be anything, couldn't it? Heating broke or something. Now, she said the what else was she talking about?
Someone got into the bed next to her.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of said, well, you know, how did that happen?
Yeah.
And she couldn't explain it herself, but
Sure.
I said, but it did wake you up. Maybe you're a little bit sort of, still.
Although the
tired.
only explanation I can think of, if she didn't actually see anyone, is well, it was a ghost.
Yeah, well, that
She's
was my...
probably got a ghost getting in
But
bed.
what
Go on.
about cupboards opening and shutting?
See, again, the only explanation for that is a ghost.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't think of anything else.
Play a record. It's got to be a ghost.
It is ghost. I think you've proven it to us.
Yeah, a spirit.
Street spirit?
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey. Street spirit. Radiohead. So, turns out ghosts do exist after all, Steve.
A woman what Carl knows proved it.
I've got egg on my face.
Yep.
On XFM.
Instantly, Rick, I should just encourage you and everyone else listening.
I
James
really have got egg on my face. Is that what you're going to say? Yeah, I've just been eating an omelette.
James Randy, a hero of yours and a hero
Yeah,
of mine,
yeah.
he's on TV this week on Horizon. I think it's maybe Thursday. Check press for details. Trying to expose the nonsense that is homeopathy.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Look forward to that.
Do you know what that is, Carl?
Oh, go on.
They've got a theory that if you say you got something an essential oil or something in a solution, 1 in 10 solution, and it does something to you, actually does something to you, they've got this thing where they dilute it to there's nothing in it, but because they're using the same water, and the water still has the same effect. It's sort of like a placebo that you know works. You know, that's the sort of theory of it.
What time's that on?
Check the papers, but I think it's sort of 9 o'clock Thursday, something like that. It'll be interesting though, Carl. It will be interesting, mate. Trust me. I'll tell you what's also interesting, Rick. The prizes we're giving away this week on Rockbusters. We got for you David Attenborough's The Life of Mammals. I don't know, is this a new show? Is this on TV at the moment? Is this like a new thing? So that looks like a double VHS thing there. We've also got a U2, the best of their 90s videos, even better than the real things on there. Mysterious Ways, Beautiful Day, Electrical Storm, the new one. Stuff on there, that's on the video. We've also got a couple of CDs, The Smashing Pumpkins. I think this is sort of alternative versions of a lot of their hits and stuff, live versions and stuff like this. Johnny Cash's current album, possibly his last. We don't know, because apparently he's not very well at the moment.
That's an album of covers.
Yeah, well, not all covers, some of his new stuff as well, but he's done covers of things like Personal Jesus by Depeche Mode, and Desperado, and Bridge Over Troubled Water. And the great thing about Cash is I read an amazing review where it says it's like he always makes them his own, do you know what I mean? It's like you can't even remember the old version.
Desperado by the Eagles?
By the Eagles, yeah.
I'd like to play that, just to hear that, because I haven't heard that. We'll play that and then give it away. These are actually good prizes, Carl.
Good prizes. We've also got, including a small, miniature three-wheel car, an Only Fools and Horses video. I think this is the, special that was on Christmas TV last year. So if you're one of the people who didn't see it, I mean, wasn't there like 22 million people watching?
Ridiculous, yeah.
If you're one of the people who, you know, desperately wants to see it again, I know I do.
And wants a small yellow car
also wants thrown in. Then there it is. And also another of these compilations, arbitrary compilation albums, the best chill out album ever, Rick.
Sure.
If you're a fan of the Levi's Freedom ad,
I love the Levi's Freedom ad.
Then the track that
I hate the music to it though.
No, well that's a shame because it's included on here. Rick, how much do you love the Volvo TV advert?
Love it.
Because that
hate the music again though. Why?
That's a shame because
that track is
also
music.
on
Oh, okay. Sure.
But there's also stuff on here. There's some interesting stuff. There's Pink Floyd. There's Coldplay. There's Roy Scott. So you know, it's probably worth it.
I love Pink Floyd. Except the music again. So it's a bit of a bind for me.
That's a whole heap of treats.
And that's the winner of Rockbusters. Coming up after the adverts.
Okay.
Doves, Caught by the River on XFM 104.9. We're into the second hour now. This is when this award-winning show really kicks into gear.
When you say award-winning?
We haven't won them yet. I mean, we will win some.
Hang on, let me remind you. Isn't there a bronze in the Sony Awards?
Oh yeah, I got a bronze. I don't go for bronze. It doesn't count. No, it doesn't count. It doesn't count. I'm Ricky Gervais, obviously, with me, Steve Merchant, and Carl Pilkington, which is what Heat write about, really. Carl's the main man. Think of Carl a year ago. He was just sitting in that room going, all right, I've done this. Whoa, XFM. It's good, isn't it? Yeah, it's like a music bed. Brilliant. Comes on the show, we start taking the piss out of him. People start going, oh, who's the idiot you've got in? And we go, it's Carl. And they go, we like him, he's a fool. I go, yes, he's a fool, he's a pet buffoon. And they go, well, let him speak more, right? And they're going, don't let him talk, XFM, the fat cats. Oh. And I said, I'm a rebel and I do it my way.
Rick, I asked, did you stick it to the man?
Yeah. And then MTV call up. Yeah, Heat are writing about him every week.
Yeah.
He's just been doing film for the BBC.
There's some rumours he might be the new James Bond.
Yeah. He's eating lovely McVitie's original digestives. Are we allowed to? Can I? If McVitie's are listening, I love these biscuits.
Yeah.
And he's got the best.
If the Spearmint Rhino strip clubs are listening, I'm a huge fan.
Right. And he's got Rockbusters to come.
Yes,
let's do it.
I should just ask, the few people have asked me this, and there's also an email here from Rich. People are saying they've seen some of the posters and the adverts of advertising the show, plugging the show. Why aren't you on the posters, Carl? And it is your choice, isn't it? We did ask Carl to be involved, but
he is actually. It's like, where's Waldo? He's actually. He's in my trousers.
Look, you don't like having your photo taken. No, you don't want. You're not seeking the publicity. I reckon you are secretly. I don't believe you.
No, he's right. He's totally right. He's doing it just right. But I think there's a fine line to be drawn that, you know, if you like being in, you know, around radio, you've got and you want your own show, or you enjoy talking and they just happen to be filming you for MTV, that's different. I think what you just avoid is going to silly celebrity bashes, having a picture taken for the sake of it. I mean, I think you're right, but I think you should do the screen test. On a serious note, I think you should do the screen test, just because it might be fun, and if it's no good, they won't do it, and you can stop any time you want. No one has to keep going on telly.
I just think we're going to lose him.
No,
we won't lose him.
Listen, right, I'll always be part of this.
I'm just worried that you're going to exhaust yourself. You're going to be drained. You're going to have told all your anecdotes.
He certainly will if you have to help the old fella upstairs with the bed.
Yeah.
£50 an hour. Oh, that's terrible. Go on.
But I'm what I wanted to do, right? Because I don't want to embarrass myself, right? I don't want to embarrass the woman at MTV when I turn up and she thinks, oh, look at him.
Yeah.
What a waste of film this is going to be. Because it's not cheap. I know that.
It's not film either, but go on.
Well,
it won't. It is cheap. It is cheap. They're filming on a DV camera that they can go over. If it's no good, they won't show it to anyone. It'll be great. It's just what they want you. Honestly, I can just see you doing little things, just like popping up, you know, between the records and going, all right. MTV, music television, hear about the airy Chinese kid born, which is weird, isn't it? Because they're not usually airy. And it just goes, MTV. It'd be brilliant. It'd be brilliant, Carl. I'll come down with you. I'll come down with you.
Well, we'll see.
Go on.
We'll think about it, right?
Go on. Right, Rockbusters.
So Rockbusters, it's a little clue, some initials, 3 different clues. You email in ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk. You can win the load of stuff that we've got. So, first one, here's the clue. Stop throwing that fruit about.
Oh. And what's the initial?
That's CB.
CB.
CB. Stop throwing that fruit about.
Yeah. Is Anders listening? Has he emailed us in yet?
Anders, not had any response from Anders. I'll keep
I hope he hasn't stopped listening. He doesn't like the show. He's gone off. I hope he hasn't gone off the show.
So, the second one, that Scottish fella has made an error.
That Scottish fella has made an error.
Yeah,
Interesting.
That's M.
M.
Right, that Scottish fella has made an error. Right?
Okay.
And, the last one, God, you can make a right load of toast with them.
You can make a right load of toast with them.
Yeah.
Alright, what's the
And
initial there?
that's G.
Gee, I was thinking it might be bread for a minute, but no. Gee.
So just very quickly, stop throwing that fruit about, CB.
I've got the last one.
Right? Scottish
It
fella.
doesn't work. It doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Well, that Scottish fella's made an error. That's M. And, God, you can make a right load of toast with them. That's G. Email in ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk and you can...
We got the CDs, we got horses, we got mammals on VHS, we got U2, we got a couple of CDs, including Johnny Cash.
Here's a new tune from a new fella called Papa Garcia. See what you think of this.
You see, if he was on MTV, I couldn't say his name.
Why?
What is it again?
Papa Garcia.
Right, here's a new one from Papa Garcia.
Brilliant. Papa Garcia, Natalie and Nusi from the forthcoming album Bring Me the Head of Papa Garcia. Catchy that. Quite retro. It's a bit of Elton John and
All sorts of
yeah, lovely. Right, here we go. Quick clues again, and then we better do Educating Ricky.
Well, this is the favourite bit of the show for me now, Educating Ricky.
I love it.
I can't, well, yeah, I'm anxious all week.
Well, just quickly on those clues, just in case people need to know again. Stop throwing that fruit about, CB. That Scottish fella's made a bit of an error, M. And, God, you can make loads of toast with them. That's, G.
Oh, brilliant. ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk, it's email only.
Oh, I need some learning. I need some knowledge, Carl. Educate me.
Might be able to help you.
Go on.
We've got 3 things, as always. I give them a little heading to tease you as to which one you want to learn first.
Yeah.
First one is the tip included?
Is the tip included? Like it.
Second one, I want to come here in hindsight.
I wouldn't have come here in hindsight?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the third one, am I gonna have to thump you?
We're gonna have to thump you. And you've trawled, what, the internet?
So so if I can get into the mindset of this plan, is the tip included? Well, obviously, that's probably not going to be about a weight. It's going to be if that's someone losing the end of his knob, I assume. Am I going to have to thump you? That's a man who lost his arm in a fight, but then picked it up with the other arm and smacked him with it. What was the middle one?
I want to come here in hindsight.
Hindsight.
Heinz site?
It's someone was blinded by baked beans.
Sure.
So what are you going for then?
I think I'd better go for, am I gonna have to thump you?
Right, well this isn't... I've been struggling again, to be honest with you. Searching high and low for stuff, and some of these I had to leave till this morning.
Right, because there's just not enough knowledge out in the world, is
Not
there,
much
that
is
you
going
don't
on.
know about?
I found out about something in the week about a guy who was playing tug-of-war.
This is bonus material,
He was
isn't it?
playing tug-of-war.
Oh, his arm came off.
Only his arm come off.
Yeah, he got caught up in the rope, yeah.
No, he didn't. He didn't get caught up in the rope. He just was trying that hard and didn't want to lose. He kept over
But he
it.
allowed his arm to be pulled off.
He really wanted to win. And
Well,
the other team, the other team pulled it and his arm come off.
No.
Well, they didn't. So there's this other boat.
Well,
I don't know who to believe.
Well, think about it. If he's gripping,
yeah.
as soon as there's tension, like the arm coming out of the socket, the hand might release. I think his arm got caught up in the rope. And so it was involuntary, as opposed to him going, well, my arm's coming off, but I'm not going to lose this! You might be
Anyway,
right.
that's the fact you're
That's
not
a
gonna tell
bonus.
us.
That's a bonus fact.
Yeah, well,
That's educated me. A man lost his arm. Oh, interesting. Go on.
am I going to have to thump you?
Yeah.
Do you know the saying, shut your face?
Yeah, I've heard the well-known Shakespeare, isn't it?
Do you know how it came about?
No, Joe Dolce?
No,
Go on.
It's ages ago.
Oh yeah, literally, literally.
Like knights who wore armour.
Okay.
That's armour gonna have to think. Yeah, that's how it came about.
Okay, armour.
They wore all the stuff and they had the helmet, and say if they're guarding something at night, stood outside a castle or something,
Yeah.
and there's probably going to be 2 of them, right? So they stood there talking and that, and talking about stuff, and
The future.
Sort of,
What-
yeah, medieval stuff.
one of them's like, oh, we should shut up, you know, I've been stood here for hours, and he's going on and on.
Yeah, sure.
So he'd say, shut your face, meaning, shut the guard down on your helmet,
The visor.
and I can't hear you then.
Uh-huh.
So shut your face.
Shut your face.
And that's
Okay.
how it came about.
Well, I suppose that's...
It would be interesting if I could just rely on it. As
I'm
a-
not sure it's true,
I
yeah.
know. I just never know. I can.
It needs to be corroborated.
It's like I don't know where he got it from, but anything via Carl is precarious.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe you should give us your sources next time. You know, tell us where
I know,
you got
I'll
this
tell you.
information from.
got it off the internet.
Yeah, but where on the internet?
I can't remember where that one was. I mean, I always go through like the news pages and stuff, and I
This news should be updated because they've only reached the 17th century, which was last week with people eating tomatoes off lead
then
plates.
I look at news and there was stuff about a woman who was in a shop and she, I don't know, they had some workmen in doing the shop up, and they had some wood glue left out, and she asked for some pear juice, and then the guy went and thought the glue in the thing was the pear juice, and she went and drank that. But that's not really news.
No.
So I thought, well, we're not
Really
having
anything.
that.
I wish you hadn't told us.
There was one about...
So there's some poor woman now whose tiles have fallen off because she tried to put them up with pear juice.
Yeah.
See, that's the danger of mixing up pear juice with toxic glue.
Yeah.
Your wallpaper and your tiles and everything just fall down.
There was
Be
also...
careful, everyone.
Be careful.
There was something about kids having hamburgers, it makes them fat.
Hold on. What? Having food with high fat content can make you put on weight?
Yeah.
Don't believe it. You're an idiot. What's the
So-
next one?
let's play a tune, let's play a tune.
You've
We'll
still
come
got
back.
to come, you've still got... I want to come here in hindsight, and you've still got Is a Tip Included, but we've got a bit of,
Well, I think we haven't played anything for a while, have we, in terms of the Hip Hop Hooray feature
no.
that I used to be so popular for. So I thought we'd just resurrect that for 1 week only.
Heat didn't pick up on that one, did they?
They didn't, did they? Let me just remind you, Hip Hop Hooray was where I played a hip hop track.
And then I said hooray, or...
Yeah, no, I think didn't even know that.
Brilliant.
That's a great thing, though. We could add that in. We could phase that in. Maybe at the end of the song, you can.
Hooray.
Brilliant.
Okay.
I'll check it.
Featuring Puff Daddy and Little Kim. That's Notorious B.I.G.
Brilliant.
And, Notorious.
Great, lovely. Carl just said to me, here's something. You can't hold your breath to death.
Have you tried it, Carl?
it's just another little lesson.
There's someone here who's in a really low ebb. They've been listening to the show. They were going to commit suicide. They just start holding their breath and thinking, oh, screw it.
Well, what did you learn in the week, right? I'm always doing all the educating. I asked you were talking about watching a programme about jellyfish,
Yeah.
and I said, well, that'll be interesting, I'll try and find some stuff out, but I couldn't find anything that I didn't already know about them.
It must be difficult for you to find anything you don't already know.
So what did you learn about jellyfish?
I agreed with you by the end of it that they should be wiped off the face of the earth because they're balls of water in membrane, right, that go around stinging people to death.
Yeah.
Let's lose them, Carl. Let's lose the jellyfish. Yeah?
That's what I think. 'Cause I was stung by one, you know?
Oh, you got someone?
Yeah, I was on holiday and got stung by one.
Yeah.
And I don't understand.
No, you're
don't
not,
understand them.
not a fan of them.
So that's that.
Good. Well, that's sorted out the jellyfish conundrum. We've solved that particular worry.
Right then, so take your pick then.
I asked him if he could have any animal the other day. Did I ask him on air as well?
Don't know.
Off air, he said, I've got it down to 2. Right, and this was, he said, what favourite animal looking at, or could I own one? And I went, you could own one. And he went, right, but could I own one, or would I have trouble? I went, Carl, you've got all the expertise, you can just have it in whatever it needs, and you go down there. He went, right, and I won't regret it and get fed up. I said, no, Carl, just what animal, if you could have any animal, what animal would you love? He went, I've got it down to 2. I went, what is it? He said, either the rhino or the hippo.
What's your logic?
Well, I don't know. That was then. I mean, ask me tomorrow, and I might have 2 other favourites. Do you know what I mean? When was that?
A couple of weeks ago. When was that? Well, you were there.
Yeah, but you know.
What are they today? Quickly now. First animal that comes into your
Quickly
head.
now, any animal I want.
You can have any animal in the world.
Right.
From one that's maybe extinct, anything you want.
Right, I might have, just for today,
Just for today.
I might have a scorpion in a little box.
A little scorpion in a box. What's your thinking?
It's the chimp every time. It's the chimpanzee or the gorilla.
No. But, have I told you that program about the scorpion?
Alright.
How they all help each other out?
Right.
Have I told
Scorpions
you?
all help each other out.
No, this is brilliant. Right, somewhere in the desert,
Okay.
there's these little
Into the desert.
there's like these little monkeys that are underground or something. And there's holes.
Is this Beneath the Planet of the Apes? The fourth in the series.
Are
I
they
think, or the
talking
second.
I
apes?
forget it, actually.
No, and you've got it wrong anyway. They're not monkeys.
There's little monkeys under the ghost. What are they doing down there?
They're
Toiling in
lizards.
some underground mines?
They're lizards, if you remember, and the lizard goes to sleep, and the bloke comes along. You've told this, and the
Oh, we've done it, alright.
monkey from monkey. That's what happens in his mind. From lizard to monkey. Oh, evolution would have been so much easier if Carl was around. Turn it into a monkey. I'm fed up with the lizard.
Just promise me once again, Carl, I've asked you before, promise me you'll never have children.
Go on, right, okay.
Right, what are you having?
Right, what are they again?
Is the tip included?
Yeah, go on, that one.
Right, in Turkey,
Nice.
it's not, actually. That's where I went, and there was them little fellas after Suzanne in the kitchen.
What? What do you mean?
We stayed we went to Turkey.
You went to
And,
Turkey and there's some little fellas.
Well, they had quite a few sort of midgets working in the kitchen.
Why? Is it a theme?
No,
Was it a
it's
theme
just-
holiday?
I don't know. Might get them cheaper or something.
Was it
So they
You
were
get them
working.
cheaper?
They were working in the kitchen, and one of them fancied Suzanne and kept sort of eyeing her up, and she was winding me up, saying, "Oh,
not iron up and down, just eyeing her up?
fancy." Anyway, no. So
What
anyway,
was she doing in the kitchen?
no, it's like a pick what you want to eat type buffet, but you have people clearing the tables and that ready for you to come along,
Are they low tables?
and you know, he was just keeping an eye on her.
What did he say though? Was he?
did he
Was he? Was he?
It was Turkish, so I don't know what he was saying.
But he was. Was he? He was.
Little fella, yeah,
Did he talk
What do you
to her?
mean a little fella? What do you mean little fella?
sort of dwarf-like.
What do you mean dwarf like? He had magic powers or he was 4 foot? What do you mean,
A
Carl?
little bloke, just like a normal bloke but small. If you stood him in the desert, you wouldn't know.
But he'd be hot and
nothing around
thirsty.
him.
Right, Carl.
You should watch out for the monkeys.
Yeah, underground.
There's underground monkeys
Look,
are
look, you
dangerous.
can't just say there was a little midget fella who was eyeing up my girlfriend and then leave it. What do you mean? What was happening? This is a story to us. This is much more interesting to us than and she was deaf, right? And she hit her head. That's much more
I don't
interesting.
understand how how it manifested itself. Did he come over and say something?
No, do you know when it's like girls know, don't they? When someone fancies them.
What do you mean there was lots of them as well?
Do they? That's worth knowing.
Listen, right, come on. Right, so you went to this holiday, yeah?
Yeah,
And you went
wasn't
into the dining room or something?
Yeah, downstairs.
And
in
you
the
looked
dining
over
I thought, this is odd, there's no one serving.
Yeah, and they go,
Wait a minute.
hold on, you looked down and there was a little waiter.
room. There was loads of them running around busy.
Why though? Why did
Because
they
it
get
was
the...
summer.
What do you mean?
Because it was in
Loads of them.
summer.
They had more of them
They
on.
come out in summer. They come out in summer.
What do you mean they had more? What do you mean?
Because it's busy, isn't it?
no,
in
but they
summer?
hibernate in the
Why
winter.
were they all midgets?
I don't know, maybe it doesn't heat stunt your growth or something.
I don't think so.
No!
Well, they just happened to, maybe it was a thing that they did for tourists or something, I don't know. I just got on with my meal, it was a holiday, do you know what I mean?
God!
Right,
So
so-
it's a midget serving. I'm not going to ask any questions.
Right, okay, yeah.
So they're all little fellas running around, and this one always was like, you know, oh, do you want a new serviette? You know what I mean, going out of his way to sort of...
for turning on the
yeah,
charm.
Yeah, he was going out of his way, the others weren't.
Right. I think what was happening is he'd been working with Santa all sort of winter.
Yeah.
It's a
Or
sort of little summer break.
This one
He
was
had
your
seen a girl.
waiter, and so he was being polite to you.
Maybe.
But what did Suzanne say then?
Well, she was using it to wind me up.
What was she saying? Oh, he's
Oh, just like, you know, look,
he may be small, but he's
well,
built like a.
Yeah, he's all man.
so
Were you jealous of a midget then? You were jealous of
it
him?
is a bit annoying, isn't it?
Why?
It wouldn't bother me as much now, because I've been with her for ages.
Right.
But at the time, that might have been one of our first holidays, and it's like,
You don't
know,
want to be
what's going
stolen
on? I
away
paid
by-
for this holiday.
Yeah.
And then you get off with a midget.
Yeah.
Oh.
So anyway,
But it don't matter because you got chatted by a bearded lady. So.
yeah.
tell you what, no, that's got nothing to do with that.
What were you going to say? What were you going to
I
say?
was going to say the hotel was half board, and maybe.
Oh, right.
Around and sell 'em.
I thought you were going to say it's just one of her shortcomings.
So listen, right?
Play a record, Carl.
Oh, just look at this.
Right. Badly drawn boy, born again. Right, just get this educating Ricky out of the way. So, yeah. So what is this again?
This is educating Ricky as a tip included.
Right.
Apparently a fellow was on holiday in Turkey. It's just having a normal holiday. Weather's good. You know, he's having a good time. And
Weight is a all normal height.
Yeah. He's having his meal. He hears a load of screaming going on in the kitchen.
Hold on.
Has his girlfriend wandered in there?
And they do,
With a step ladder.
Yeah.
the circumcised people in the kitchen, and apparently...
What are you talking about?
Whoa, slow down. We were
Sorry,
sidetracked there for a minute.
what are you talking about? Well, I'm excited about two things at once here. One, they circumcised people in the kitchen. Two, I guessed it was someone losing the end of their knob.
He did, yeah.
I started thinking like Carl Pilkington.
Extraordinary.
That is amazing.
Apparently it was going on. It wasn't just a one-off either. Well, when I say a one-off, I mean they did it more than once.
Yeah.
Right. And there was, it was there for a week, and apparently the first night it was quiet, and then the rest of the week, every day it'd be like having his breakfast, or even his lunch, or even his tea.
Yeah.
He'd be doing it all day.
Oh.
You'd be hearing
Lunch and
screams.
breakfast, fair enough, really.
Yeah, but
Circumcision at tea time.
Don't do that.
And apparently it's a tradition over there. You can't even make a complaint about it. It's like, well, you should have found out before you come over.
See,
here.
I can't believe this is
So
true.
I'm a little
I
bit
can't
lost.
believe this is
He's
true.
in a restaurant, in a hotel, and there are people having circumcisions in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I'm even worried that we're bordering on the racist here, suggesting that is tradition, that Turkish people cut the end of their cocks off in the kitchen
Yeah.
at meal times. I think you're wrong, Carl.
This just sounds ludicrous, Carl.
No, I don't think it happens everywhere.
Right.
I think this
Just in-
Oh,
think
this
the
in this
restaurant.
hotel.
certain places,
Certain hotels.
certain hotels.
What,
it's-
is it like 2-star?
Yeah.
No, I don't- that-
Why did he go to the Foreskin Inn? It was his own fault, wasn't it?
so that's
Sorry, that's it, is it?
Have they closed?
Sorry, no, wait. That's the story. You educated me, right? Once a fella saw some Turkish people cutting the tip of their knob off in the kitchen. Thanks very much. Thanks very much, Carl. Got any more?
Well, there's things you can learn from it. Either don't go to Turkey,
No!
don't have calamari when you're over there.
Carl, you've done it again.
Well,
You too. I love that one. On XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Carl. Okay, Carl, one more.
can't we just...
Don't get the just because so far you've come up with nothing. What's the last one?
Give us the teaser clue
It
again.
was, I want to come here in hindsight.
I wouldn't have come here in hindsight.
Yeah.
Right, give me some education. This will be the thing that teaches me something. I can feel it in my bones. Come on.
There's a kid in Kenya. He was messing about with some beans.
Magic.
We guessed that as well.
You did, yeah.
He's fed up because we've guessed his puns, I think.
He put one of them in his ear.
Yeah.
The mum or the dad said, oh, what have you done that for, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'll have to take you to the doctors now. So they took the kid to the doctors, and the doctor said, oh, he said, I can get that out, I can sort that out for you. So, he took it out, and the doctor said, right, that's £3.50. And the dad said, I've only got £2.70 on me. And the doctor said, right, well, and he put the bean back in his kid's ear.
I don't know what to say. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean,
Couple of questions from me, very quickly. Are you sure that those were definitely the sums involved, were they?
Well, the equivalent of whatever they deal with in Kenya.
Yeah.
It was the equivalent of, you know...
£3.50.
oh, so what currency was it, Carl, that you translated into sterling?
I don't know. No, it was saying in the thing. It said the equivalent of.
£3.50 and £2.70.
Did it say that?
Yeah. So
Did it say that?
Yeah.
Carl, look at me. Look at me. Did it say that?
Yeah. It said that was the.
Did it say that?
Yeah. Yeah, it did. It definitely said that. Definitely.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I suppose. I don't know. I mean, all these things. The idea is, it's not like a lesson. It's like, I'll tell you this. See what you can get from it.
Sure.
So you look at what I've told you already. The knights who said shut your face. That's
Yeah.
like
That's amazing.
that explains itself.
Yeah.
Turkey with the circumcisions in a restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll hold me in good stead, yeah, go on.
Don't go there, whatever. This one, if you're in Kenya, don't put beans in your ears or something. Doctors
Or carry £3.50 or the equivalent of.
It's just the idea that the doctor put it back in his ear. He forced it back in his ear. So is it still there to this day? I mean, is there any update on that
Or
stuff?
did he go back with the 350?
I presume he either went and got a second opinion, see if he could get it cheaper,
Right.
from another doctor,
Yeah.
or he said, right, I'll come back next week
Yeah.
after I've been paid, or he saw how the doctor did it and thought, well, I'll have a go at that,
Sure.
I'll get home.
Yeah. For free.
But he never said how it ended.
No. No.
But I mean, I apologise for this week's. I mean, I haven't got that much out of it.
You've not been enriched.
It was very, very light. Like I said, there was the tug of war. There was a fella in Scotland who had a load of tattoos.
Okay.
Is that it?
Is that the end of the story?
98% covered.
Right.
Just between his toes, he didn't have done.
Why not?
Because it looks stupid. I don't know. It just said 98% done. What else?
Are you gonna drop the feature? Are you worried?
I'm thinking about it.
Don't drop the feature.
To be honest with you.
Heat have probably written about this already. This has been a classic.
I'm concerned because it's my favourite part of the show. I'm wondering, is there something else we could? What could we do to help you out? Because I hate to see it go.
Well, we can't really, and he's moving this week with the old fella, so that'll take him about 4 days. I'm worried that you're not looking in the right. Why don't you go to a library?
Quick question for you, Carl. Who is a possible guest on next week's Pilkington?
What are you
anyone
gonna
lined up?
investigate?
I mean, what about your removals man?
Right, listen, if you've had an experience, it can be anything, right? It doesn't have to be you've seen a ghost, it can be that you think you're gonna live forever, or you can, do so, any mentalist out there. If you're slightly, wrong, if there's something wrong with you, just, email Carl. Is it carl.pilkington@xfm.co.uk? carl.pilkington@xfm.co.uk.
Would you like to be interviewed on next week's edition of Pilkington?
If you are a mental of any description, just lonely, bewildered, stupid, just something wrong with you, right, and you've seen something that's, interesting to you but absolute bollocks, then please call Carl.
Yeah. Carl.Pilkington.
Don't let that put you off, by the way. Don't think, they're going to take the piss out of me. Just if, in any way, if it's, fodder for us, then call up, because Carl will like you. You'll be friends with Carl, won't you? Quick, the clues. What's the answers? We always do this. We're running out of
Don't
time.
worry, we've got a tune, and then we'll come back with the answers for
Sure.
Rockbusters. A lot of great prizes.
Alright, then. We'll have a bit of cash.
Johnny Cash, one of the prizes we're giving away.
Johnny Cash and Desperado.
That's from his new album, which is a collection of new songs and covers, which is one of the prizes given away on this week's Rockbusters.
And can we have the clues and the answers and the winners?
Yeah. First one was stop throwing that fruit about.
Stop throwing that fruit about. The answer
That was
is...
C.B. That was Chuck Berry.
Oh, of course it is.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
The one that you've worked out, I'll do next. The God, you make a load of toast with them. That was
Gorillas.
G. Gorillas.
Gorillas, though, innit?
Gorillas. And the middle one was that Scottish fella's made an error. That was Mystique. Mystique. So,
Did anyone get that?
Extraordinarily, almost all the people who emailed in...
I'm beginning to think it's us then,
It's
because I was thinking mistake, I was thinking muck error, and muck mistake, but mistake.
Yeah.
so do you want to pick a winner?
Yeah, I was going to give the prizes to Amy Massey, who's from Wiltshire, the West Country. Losers down there. Probably as weird as you.
Yeah.
So she's won, and congratulations to her. I'm assuming she's listening online, or maybe via some kind of...
I think we must have a lot of listeners outside London, because all these are from Norwich and... Have we got any listeners in London?
Places, it's where there's a lot of inbreeding.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do.
Exactly.
Norwich and Wiltshire.
Well, cheers for that, Amy. Well done.
He waved then when he said that.
He did, yeah.
He waved.
He's his own little world.
No, he's working, getting ready for TV.
Of course he is, yeah.
Oh, I think
So
it
is that
coming.
this week? Can it be arranged for this week?
Yeah, I'll sort it out.
Well, I'm busy this week. I'm moving. Of
course.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about that.
And you can do an edition of Cribs. Where they get rock stars to show them around their
Oh,
their home.
we're done now. Finished.
Sorry, was I boring you?
What day are
Well,
you
it's been
moving? What
pretty
day are
bad
you
today.
moving?
It's been pretty bad.
What are you talking about? Hold on,
been pretty-
I was
pretty
talking
bad
and you
today.
just went anyway. Well, we're still on there. You know we're still
we've
on
run
there.
out of time now.
Well, I've run out of time. It's 6 minutes too.
I know, but we've got to finish now.
Why?
Because we always do this.
What? Why are you getting stressed, Carl? You do not cut me off when I'm talking. Whatever you do.
Can I just remind you, Carl, it is Ricky's show.
Yeah.
I know, but as the producer,
Ooh, you've
Well,
changed, Carl.
Go on.
as the producer, I've got to press this button.
Why though? At 6 minutes too. Tell me why.
Because that's when it finishes.
What, we
We've
finish-
got to clear net for the next.
On the
football,
poster it says
football.
1 to 3. It doesn't say 1 till 2:55.
Right.
You, Carl, you press that button on. Hey! Oh yeah, the smooth indie sound of Richard Ashcroft. The Science of Silence on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, joining me is Steve Merchant and Carl Pilkington.
It was an excellent link, that, Rick. Did you say Nime at one point? 104.9? Did I? Other than that, it was
Again,
textbook.
Yeah, a desperate attempt at being articulate.
Sure.
But let myself down.
With your
See,
nice
here's the good
body
thing
style.
about the boxing thing, because there's no chance of me, slurring
a fool
the
of
words.
myself?
No, I already slurred my words.
Yeah,
so no one, any damage will be totally fine.
Yeah.
Oh,
The doctor's rushing in. I think there might be some kind of concussion. Jane just going, no, that's just the way he talks to me. But because I'm thinking maybe, did you start the show with that particular kind of manner? Just because obviously a lot of new listeners, I imagine, thanks to the massive poster campaign, and you obviously want to impress them and charm them.
there's a few examples there of irony.